and welcome to episode 288 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. I'm Vince Hunt, writer of MI666 and Murder Road, and joining me as always are the creator of Viper and the webcomic Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And the creator of Atomic Hercules and one of the brain trust behind Tribute Press, Tony Esmond.
Hello.
I was thinking about changing my hello.
Okay.
Why?
It's a classic. Keep it.
Well, how would you change it, Dan?
I don't know.
You've clearly thought about that a lot.
Well, yeah, I started considering it and think, well, it's kind of a classic. It's what people tune in for. You know,
yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's like a warm hug from Mummy. You can't do it that way.
Do we need to?
My God, where are we going with this?
I think we may need to talk a bit more about this when we're not recording. So stick with us for a little bit longer, Dan. And folks out there, stick with us for a little bit longer as well, because it's the new year. It's I don't know how many years we've been doing this now, but it is the first show of 2021, and welcome. We are looking forward to quite a few things. We're very interested to see what this year is going to bring us, and what you lovely people out there are going to bring us, whether it be whether you're a comics creator who are creating comics and are going to let us know to check them out, or maybe you're just a comics reader who reads something fucking awesome that we don't know about and lets us know about it. We're looking forward to all of that, but also we're quite intrigued to see, because these are strange times we live in. We're in what's that, Bizarro world, and then some.
Yeah. Last year was strange and very different, and I don't think this year's going to be much different.
Yeah,
we're
going to be
up that way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be readjusting. If we get back to kind of any semblance of normalcy, we're still going to have that massive transition period, so we don't really know how it's going to go.
But what is going to be normality is we are still going to put this show out once a week, every week, for you over this year. So and we're going to be talking about indie comics and creating comics, and don't worry, we've got you covered. Thank you for listening to all the festive episodes, whether it be our favourites of the year or the quiz where me and Dan, the man Butcher, we kept the titles. We brought
the belts home.
We brought the belts home. Oh yes, what a rush!
Because we're recording on a Sunday, it feels like this is the end of Christmas. It feels like this is the
final bit,
the last bit, isn't it?
The decorations up in the loft. That's it.
The decorations are away. We're returning to like the full-time jobs or whatever pretty soon. We still, I don't know about you lads. I've got minimal leftovers from Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Like the snacks and stuff.
We've got the shitty ones. Like nobody eats the mince pies. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a pack of mince pies I got to eat before like the 6. So
get on it, Dan.
What a day. The hardships I have to fucking put up with.
It's unbelievable. Why don't you do this?
You got any Star bars left?
Look, I know we laughed about that because of a certain news article we saw, but don't you knock Star bars, because I bloody love them.
I like Star bars as well. Yeah. They're a bit peanutty, aren't they? But don't stick them up your minge.
Nah. As the woman in the news article did.
Well,
moving on.
We lasted 4 minutes of 2021.
That's Brexit Britain. Welcome to it.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how it is.
Welcome to the show, folks. We're going to entertain, and remember, I feel like I need to put this before the actual music starts. All opinions that you hear in this show are probably bullshit. But I tell you what isn't bullshit, and is in fact amazing, and is going to be awesome this year, and very much needed, is our lovely sponsor, Comic House. Yes, they're an indie comic marketplace with an amazing difference, and that's that they truly love indie comics. So much so, if you know someone that's got an indie comic that is just gathering dust, tell them to get their books onto Comic House, because it's worth it. There's a huge selection of titles on the website database. Lots of people who self-publish and have hard copies list their books on there for free and can start selling straight away. And on the app, which is growing all the time, they have so many awesome things being added all the time, such as, Dan?
We've got The Spirit of Enki, Issue 1. Tony Osmond is a Movie Star, Volume 1, Issue 1. Hey. Space Precinct 0, Issue 2. Grey, Issue 2. And Wall Breakers, Issue 1. Among many others.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, stuff is being added all the time. There's a lot of Alterna stuff we've noticed going there recently as well. A lot of cool indie sort of publishers are starting to add their stuff, as well as the individuals themselves. So I know we're certainly probably going to discover lots of books on that app.
Even I can work it. Even I managed to put a book on there and not have to ring Pete and ask him what I was doing.
Yeah, there you go. It's amazing what you can learn in 5 years.
You literally add it to the database and then upload a PDF, and it's there.
Yeah, you add it, you write it up, and then they let you know that it's ready to be uploaded, and then you upload the file.
It's really simple.
Yep. And then you'll probably be in the top 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well as loads of other amazing comics. And for those that don't know about it, it's basically like Netflix for comics. A subscription service, only £3 a month, and you get access to all that we just mentioned and more. Because stuff doesn't disappear from there unless, I guess, the creators just remove them themselves, don't they? Yeah.
So you got listed by genre. You can check out, say if you like one artist or a writer, you can click on further links of their work and it'll bring up what else is on the app. There's a whole slew of features on there.
Yeah, they've got the family-friendly section, so if you want your kids reading comics but you don't want any of the filth that the people that host this show
generate.
Yeah.
Speak for yourselves.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to make this year regret that it ever existed with the sort of
on the way.
filth you're going to...
On the way.
But there's comics of all genres, types, brands, publishers, etc. And it's all on Comic House. There's a 14-day free trial. Go to comichouse.com and check it out straight away. Not bad, is it? First sponsorship out of the year, and we've
it's a good one.
Yeah,
very
smooth.
Yeah, really smooth.
You can get Atomic Hercules on the app. And Tony, I don't think we've had a show where I've talked about Atomic Hercules Goes Commando, but that's a great comic, man. I mean,
do you know, I was hoping we were going to discuss this at some point. Partly to say, beautiful dude, beautiful.
Yeah.
Adam's great, man. Adam's improving, isn't he?
And in the same breath, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I know
it's been 5.5 years.
I know. It's one of those books that when I finished reading it, I was like, yeah, that's them, all right.
I don't want to go on
with the words. Do you fancy a blowjob?
I don't want to be like doing a hyperbole kind of stuff, but like it felt really edgy, that comic. When I was reading it and finished it feels fucking really dangerous, Tony. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't want to, if you was in school, you wouldn't want to get caught with this. Like, you
that's a
fucking
nice little Paul quote that John did for us. John Tucker did us on the back, and that's kind of where he went with it, actually.
Yeah, it feels exactly like that. It feels really kind of...
Yeah. Adam's improving, man. You see the stuff. He's just... I think I'm allowed to say he's doing Satan's Library #2, and that looks... He sent me a strip from that this weekend. Looks amazing. We got another Hercules sitting in his inbox, ready to be started.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's really, really, really killing it on it with the art, mate. And his colour work's great as well. You know that.
One of the things with drawing comics, you just keep doing it, and you'll get better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just putting your hours in making comics, and you'll get better at it.
Look at Stuart Mulrain. He did a drawing a day, didn't he? Yeah, that was what an exercise that was.
Yeah.
There's always exceptions to the rule, though, Liefeld.
There it is.
Those are the ones with Liefeld's
the shot heard around the world. Oh dear. Yes, but well done, dude. It's good to
thank you, mate.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's just been very kind of you. The Commando size book as well. It's quite cool as well.
Yeah, I didn't
nice little reading experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
I not from my point of view, but just generally, it's a nice thing to write as well. It's fun to write a 2-panel, a page thing. It's really fun.
What's the kind of biggest those kind of panel size go up to on the Commando books? It's only like 2 or 3, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly it's 2 a page. Yeah, which is what then we did the odd double page spread, which is nice fun.
I know sometimes you get insets, didn't you? Like a kind of character's head in a circle going, watch out, Jock, there's a Nazi or something.
Yeah.
Authentic Commando.
Yeah, I was about to say that was like I was right there.
Yeah, I was saying it's wartime at WW2 history there, a lesson for you. Yeah.
Suck on this, Fritz. Dack. They used to put stuff like that in, didn't they?
I wonder if they had to curb a bit of the sort of German racism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I understand, like, they did that with Cap, didn't it? It's like, look, we've done, like, hundreds and hundreds of issues of Cap ragging on the Nazis, and it's like, can't keep doing this because
make him Hydra. One of the reasons for that is I think this limited what you can show of Nazis in the cinema in Germany, isn't it? I think it give you a higher rating if you've actually got Nazis in it.
Right. Okay.
It jumps up. Yeah.
Fuck me. There's loads of films that on Netflix and stuff like that. Dead Snow and
that's true.
There's got
maybe
loads
it's changed. Maybe it most
no,
they
probably don't get screened because they're really hardcore on video game censorship in Germany.
Right. Okay. I was been asking a friend of mine about some German translations for something I'm writing at the moment, and I realised I might have to show them it later. And I thought, yeah.
That's one more friendship gone.
Yeah, Isla, she walked the SS. Yeah. I don't think she's a fan.
Oh God!
Have you seen that movie?
No, I've not seen that one. I'm well aware of it.
Oh my
Bloody
God!
hell! If Tony Esmond says don't watch it, it must.
It'll scar you. It'll mentally scar you.
Oh,
it's like Peep Show when Superhands warns Mark and Jez off going into his house
don't
party.
Go in there. Don't go in there.
And I was like, that's coming from Hans.
Yeah. Oh dear. But anyway, from that to the year ahead. So Tony's going to have more comics coming out in the year. And myself and Dan, Dan's always on the go.
Yeah, Dan, that work you stuck through today, mate, on the WhatsApp.
Oh, thanks, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That colour works so good.
Cheers. Just getting up on trying to build a bit of a buffer up, which will be burnt out almost immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Time being some sort of theoretical construct that it is. It always catches up with you.
But Marvo must be days from hitting our inboxes as well. No, they've had the delivery, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had the delivery, so I guess that'll be out in the post soonish. That'd be excellent. Get that through.
Post is a real mess at the moment.
It is.
Yeah, I've had to resend a couple of copies of Hurt because people just didn't get it or whatever, and you're getting some. You can usually time it. Like if you post it on a Monday, it'll be there on a Wednesday. But some people, it's like taking a week to get there. It's all that sort of thing.
I posted that stuff before Christmas, and people were getting it before Christmas. People were getting it after Christmas.
Yeah, I got mine after.
All over the shop.
And I think this is probably let's kick off with this then.
Okay.
Because obviously this year is going to be challenges of all kinds for the comic industry. And I know the changing in postage and things like that is going to hit things quite hard. This week, of course, we're going to try and be positive, but we will talk about things that are going to be quite difficult as well. I'd imagine because now for you guys that have done Kickstarters or do have experience with that, I know Kickstarter obviously has been such a vibrant part of the indie and small press industry. Like especially for the UK last year. I know the US always has a strong showing with Kickstarters and Indiegogos and things like that. But of course, the postage is going to hit hard, isn't it? Because the beauty of a Kickstarter is you can sell to your audience if you've got this fan base and and stuff like that. But you go beyond the boundaries of your islands. You go beyond, time zones and stuff.
Yeah.
Your work can go all over the world.
That becomes a real issue.
Yes.
Postage-wise, man, it's just... I've been messaging a few people I'm waiting for books on since the postage has changed. And I've actually messaged them and say, look, you need to have a look at this, mate. If you're getting ready to send this out, this is going to cost you a lot of money.
Mm.
Yeah, I did £7 for some international ones. And I think the one I sent the last one to Australia was just before New Year's, and that was $6.80, something like that.
That's good. Yeah, that's not too bad actually.
But it's if I've only factored in £7, that doesn't really cover much at all. Like the envelope, the hardback envelope and stuff like that. So that's obviously going to jump up. So if you've set postage rates in 2020 and you post in 2021, you might make a loss.
I've got to tell you, if you're sending overseas, do not send those ones that have got the card back and the paper, the brown paper front. They won't make it there. You need the hard shell card on both sides.
Really? Oh, okay.
Really?
They get fucked up.
Yeah. American Post is fucking terrible. We had to replace maybe 6 or 7 issues.
Fucking hell. And your book is it's a standard comic. It's not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a load in now of the hard shell ones that I send stuff out because it's just you're all right. But the one with the paper front, which is the one where you get a lot of stuff through in, don't you?
Yeah.
We do get stuff like that. That it tears, the front tears. So,
man, that's not good.
And what is the cost difference between those sort of things?
There's only slight. I mean, I tend to buy them in like 500 batches and stuff like that, so it's not too bad. I'd have to check to be certain, but it's a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something to bear in mind, because obviously people have definitely got Kickstarters kicking off in the new year.
Plus, I bag mine. I bag all mine as well, and you got to pay for the bags and boards if you can afford them.
Bags, boards, packaging.
There's nothing worse than getting a comic through that's just rattling around inside a cardboard envelope.
I think the minimum should be to bag it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
just bag it, because if that paper gets like those paper ones on the front that I used, the ones you say get torn, a bit concerning now. If I've got that comic in, at least I've got that comic in the comic bag, there's an extra bit of protection there for water or something.
Yeah,
agreed.
because also, like, in this day and age where the postal people sometimes just have to drop a parcel on your front door and then leave if they don't leave a card sometimes, and the weather's not great, and you don't
get a lot of that.
You don't want your stuff to get completely ruined. So
we got a waterproof box at the front of our door, and stuff gets put in there, which I if you don't live in a particularly rough area and nobody's going to come around and steal your post, I recommend actually.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, where I work, I've got like a direct window out to where people walk past to get to our front door, so I see virtually everyone coming out.
Is that the window you spit on people from?
Is that the window you pretend you've got a shirt on at? That one.
Well, I've drawn a shirt on the window. If you look at the right angle, it's wearing a shirt. So, we can talk a bit about Kickstarters. We've got a bit of experience under our belt now.
We have, yeah.
Tony, way more than me.
I don't know. I don't control the back end, so I don't. That's just so everyone knows this. If you order a Kickstarter of me, I don't, unless I get Adam to send me the list through. I don't tend to see the names.
Gotcha.
But I tend to be. I see the amounts and the graph and stuff, but I don't. And then I'm there bagging and boarding with Adam for a couple of days at the end of it. But
I've said thank you to Adam before, but like he was helping me out with a few questions and answers with how I was getting Viper out, because I was using the post office click and drop, I think it is, service, which makes it so much easier.
Yeah. We've got one of those, like a depot, post office depot. You know, when you get a card through the door, you've got to go and collect your parcel. We've got one of them, and it's got one of those. It's like a post box, but it's for parcels out the front.
Yeah.
With them, we put all the stickers on and you just put them in there. You're done.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Well, I think next time I get stickers, because essentially you get your Excel document from Kickstarter. You just kind of like go through and kind of like prune out some of the entries that are not filled in, or kind of just make it look legible. And you upload it to this click and drop website, and you can just do it all in great big batches of like, well, these are all UK. It's one issue. They're all the same weight, and it gives you the price. You pay it in one lump sum, then you can print out the labels at the postage centre or get printouts, and that's it all done. And you just stick them onto the thing and put the envelope, and you don't have to fuck around going to the post office and get some poor sod behind the counter to do like 50 per day or whatever you're doing.
It's bad enough when you're just sticking them on big cartel and there's another one. I don't live far from post office, so I can walk. I walk there, and I've walked that path 4 times in a day. When you get home and your phone goes, there's another one, and you head back in. It's a bit like that. But yeah. Well,
fortunately, when we get back to the office, now I can just buy the click and drop and just put it in the outgoing post bag for the office, and it's like that's paid for. It's done. That's going to be a piece of piss.
That's good. Yeah,
so at the moment, it does require literally going down the post office, which it's not the fucking end of the world, but you're not supposed to be going out, really, are you?
Yeah. And sometimes when you're working from home, I end up doing more work. I get in at like 6 o'clock and Teams is on, and we work with people around the world. So suddenly somebody from, I don't know, Bulgaria is talking to me, and I'm like, I don't get off my seat until like 6:30 that night.
Yeah. I'm blazing through the lunch break. No breaks, no lunch, just work. So one thing I would say I've learned about Kickstarters and doing rewards, I managed to max out all my reward levels. Like I did like the portraits. I did like the driver portraits, and you'd be drawn as like the driver of like the Viper. They all went. All the synthwave portraits, I had 10 of them. They all went. I think what I've learned is give your fans, or the people that want to appreciate your work, a tier that they can go in at that's a high level, but you get a higher reward for it.
Okay, interesting.
You see what I mean?
Like a page of artwork or something like that.
Yeah, say you did like a page of artwork, and you said, right, this is like 80 quid or something. And it's not saying that anyone has to back it, or anyone will, but there's an option there for them to do that.
Yeah.
Because someone might say, actually, I do want a page of the artwork from the comic, kind of like what Knights and Pirates did.
Yeah.
And they were like, people were kind of rushing to that. But if you have that high option in there, someone might take it. And if they don't, there's nothing lost. So you kind of got to like, same with the portraits. They were quite easy to do, and I've done them quite reasonably, and I was just whacking them out as soon as they came in. The driver ones took a little bit longer, but I factored that in because they were a little bit more expensive than the portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put too much on your plate. I know I was speaking to Cannon
not.
the other day, and he was saying he's drawing a lot of people who said, "Oh, can I have a picture of Spider-Man and Daredevil and the Black Panther?" And he's drawing it, and he says it's taking him so long.
Yeah, I mean, what I did was that headshot. You send in a photo, you get a headshot back.
Yeah,
there's no kind of. The more you have to email back and forth, it's the more kind of hassle you got to do. And I'm not going to do alternative covers again. Never.
Right.
That's
Okay.
a pain in the arse.
And
why so, dude?
Well, say you get 200 backers and then 50 say, well, I want the second cover. Now I've got to go and find those 50. It's just more admin work.
Okay.
Rather than just like, right, bang, I've got the same comic, 200 go in an envelope, print out a label, slap all the labels on, and out they go. Whereas if it's the alternative cover, you've got to, oh no, that's Joe Bloggs. He's going to the States. Put that one aside. It's just a bit more buggering around, to be fair.
Yeah.
Your first one, it was like so much I want to keep my eye on that. One extra thing is that I really don't need this, but
yeah,
there you go.
Are you gonna kickstart Black? Do you think, B?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'd recommend that whole pre-order thing. I think that's good.
Yeah,
let's do it that way.
Yeah, I could do something like that.
So if there's an interest in it, people will do it, and you've got don't put the work into. I mean, you've already got it. You just need to assemble it.
Yeah.
Same with if you did Murder Road.
Yeah. Oh, and like Murder Road. Yeah. Stay tuned for more on that this year. Much like Viper. So.
Oh, nice. Good news.
Yeah. So So you learned quite a lot then, Dan.
Yeah.
Because it's done now, isn't it? The last is.
You sent them all out? Is everyone filled in their form?
No, there's a couple I've chased, but they've not got back to me.
I mean, there's only so much you can do that. You can chase, and you can have the stuff aside so that the reward's there.
Yeah. Occasionally, I know Alan Henderson's had this, and I had it as well, where something goes wrong with Kickstarter and you don't get the messages.
I know that's been I've got their email addresses and I've emailed them as well.
Yeah,
it's not responded. So
I thought I haven't had a message from Kickstarter for ages, and I had to I ended up having to email Kickstarter admin to say what's going on. I'm not getting the messages, and they fixed it. It took them a couple of weeks, mind you, but
it's weird because I've had one where I said, well, where the fuck's that? And I've had to go into the messages to find that they did send me the link. I just didn't get an email.
Yeah, that's what I had. Yeah.
So
another thing about Kickstarter, I mean, talking about like the rewards and stuff. Maybe this is just a personal thing because I'm waiting on some comics. It's like, if you're doing a Kickstarter where you're going to do the artwork afterwards, I would say don't offer commissions. That may sound mental, but it seems like the commissions get pushed ahead of the comic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to work. I'm going to work on this comic. Oh, if you like a commission at the same time, here's this tier. That's all well and good, but the whole reason for the whole thing is the comic. Get the comic done first, and then the commission.
You're pleasing one person over the 200, 300 people that back the comic, and that's getting pushed back.
And some people say, but the commissions, they've paid a lot for their commissions. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, people have still paid for the comic. You need
to do the comic, man.
Be a commission artist then.
Yeah, exactly. The Kickstarter isn't for a commission list. If you're selling a comic, do the fucking comic first. Because sometimes I do like check out the emails for some Kickstarters that I backed a long time ago, and I look at it and go, I'm and I think I've said it on this show as well, where it's like, I finished this commission list and. I'm working on these comic pages next, and then I'll be back on with the comic that you paid for and have been waiting fucking months.
Yeah, it kind of burns a bit.
Yeah. The thing is, I found as well is don't back people who are industry big names. Here we go. You ready? Tim Truman, 2.5 years. Paul Kupperberg, Jim Starlin, fucking Keanu Reeves. All of them. I've had loads of comics. Yeah, all of them. I've had loads of comics from people who I backed months ago and months after I backed those people. I mean, Tim Truman's 2.5 years now. And all he does is you get an email saying, "Oh, I had a wonderful time at such and such Comic Con this weekend." And I can't be that bloke goes, "Why aren't you working on the fucking comic I paid $50 for, 2.5 years ago?"
Yeah.
It just seems that they do it as like somebody says, "Oh, you'd make a load of money if you did a Kickstarter," and they don't prepare it. They don't have it already. Yeah.
Some people throw their toys out the pram, don't they? If someone complains,
if you
sort of says,
them.
it's like, "Oh, well, why haven't you done the comic?" "Oh, get off my back."
Like, "Oh, I'm being persecuted." No,
money,
you've got my money,
you've
man.
Got my money.
Jim Starlin and I have sent, I think it's about $80 to now. Like, where's the comic, man? What's going on with you?
Yeah, just give me the money back. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Or the comic.
And I know the thing is, since then, postage has fucking gone through the roof. I know they're going to come back and go, "Oh, by the way, would you mind sending us $30
if they ever get it done?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My the money for Viper cleared end of November, beginning of December, and it was in the post in December, and people were getting it at the end of the month.
Yeah, if it's more than a month, I feel awful. If it's more than a month, I feel absolutely. Yeah.
I could have done the old print before. I know Johnny Cannon did that. He had the print before the funds cleared.
Joey Oliveira does that, doesn't he? I think. Yeah.
And I guess that's one option in future if you want to go down that route. But
the money's once you've passed the, you're making it. I suppose it's safe then, isn't it? If you've got the money,
and of course there are the tried and trusted, like you're saying, like Joey Oliveira, who's like he knows they're people.
You're going to get it, don't you?
Yeah. And you're going to get from the packaging to the product itself, everything's well thought out. There's communication.
I think Joey Oliveira's one of his. It ended, and I got it 2 days later.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Literally, yeah.
So, what are your feelings about backing comics that haven't been made? They're only essentially pitches.
Well, totally wary of it. Totally wary. Yeah.
Okay.
I won't do it now.
Fair enough.
I don't think I'll do it now. I'd like to know that I'm going. I've been suckered in by. Oh, that'll make a lovely 80-page graphic novel, and certainly sometimes, like months and months down the road, I've gotten that graphic novel. A PDF.
Oh, fucking hell!
But like, yeah. But
the mojo's gone sometimes when it arrives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm all excited. 6 months later, put it aside, read it later.
Yeah.
Get that hype train.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like a Kickstarter product or a comic or graphic novel or whatever. If it's going to be read, it can only mean one thing. It's going into a reading pile. Now, you have to make sure your product is something that someone wants to read the moment they get it. Which I know we've all like pledged to crowdfunding campaigns, and as soon as the product's been turned out, we're like, oh yes, and we devour it straight away.
Yeah, and you see people do that with ones, not large in it, but you see people do that as soon as it arrives. They let me know what they think, and I really like that. And I think you've got to keep the heat going around that sort of thing, keep the enthusiasm going, because then people will let you know and read it straight away.
But also, there's the ones that just turn up and you're like, oh wow, I forgot about this, and then it goes into the to read pile. And let's face it, folks, we've all got a flipping huge to read.
Gives me
pile.
nightmares.
Well, yours is going to fall over and kill you one day, but that's.
I'll tell you what. I actually, other than Mr. Hazel, who is regular with his Indiegogos, and I've got a couple of his through before, past guest, I actually got a reward through from an Indiegogo that I backed the other day, which is a fucking surprise. I went to Indiegogo. I think I was looking at it thinking, oh, what comics are on there that are worth reviewing? And I was looking at it, I thought, fucking hell, I've backed loads of things on here. I never got a single sausage thing through apart from
really?
Hazel. Yeah. Who's regular. He's good. But I got another one through. I thought, fucking hell, I backed that years ago. I completely and utterly forgot that I backed that,
I wonder how much people bank on that happening, of this backing.
Yeah, I did one. It's like old school martial arts movie poster book.
Yeah.
And I backed it 3 years ago, completely and utterly forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not a sausage. Yeah.
Not a fucking sausage.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things about Kickstarter is the marketing. That's like a skill set in itself of trying to market the bloody thing and get in front of people's faces. And you got to try and do that thing, if not just go into the usual suspects, because that's only a limited pool, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you mentioned many times, Tony, he's trying to get outside.
You got to break out,
yeah.
And that's I think we sit in the bath too long with that. You know, we do. There's too many. We're happy and we're comfortable. And there's those websites and those podcasts, and we sit there happily eating each other's shit like the fucking, you know, what's that fucking horror film where they're all glued to each other's anuses?
Oh god,
you know, Human Centipede.
It's like the Human Centipede of small press. We just sit there sucking each other's shit up through each other. You know,
you don't have to describe it more. We get the picture.
You know, eating each other's sweet corn, and I think we need to break out. You need to pull your face away from the anus. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And
take a
to
breath.
look somewhere else. Yeah.
There's the title of this week's episode.
But I'd say take it as a given that some portion of that small press community is going to buy your book. You want other eyes on it and other readers, and
that's what makes things a hit.
Yeah. It's getting that shit out to people. I'm sure, like most of the comics that we come across small press wise, if they had a larger audience, they'd just be way more successful. They're great books. That's partially the reason we started the show, wasn't it, Vince? So trying to get more people to see these awesome books that are getting put out.
Yeah, and certainly there's a strange thing that happens. That if you get people who regularly read your books, and you just say you have loyal readers who'll read whatever you put out, that's amazing. It's a completely different kind of adrenaline when someone you've never heard of has got nothing to do with the community you built around. Said this
many a time,
has just sort of said, I really enjoyed this, and you know, I had that experience this week. Thank you to Richard Chief who brought it to my.
Oh, is this the Red Mask thing?
The Red Mask Origin issue, which is on Comic House if you want to read it. And
it was in the top 10 this week.
Someone literally was on Comic House. This is someone from I haven't got their name. God forgive me.
In the States.
Yeah, in the States. They were like, and it was someone that sort of said, I'm going to, people after our own hearts, they're going to support as many indie creators as they can. And
that's right, I saw this one. Yeah.
And they read The Red Mask from Mars and thought it was fun. And I was like, wow. Especially when it's a book, and this is the value of things like Comic House or wherever you keep your digital books, whether it be, you know, Comic House or Comixology or whatever. You never know who's going to read that book that you did fucking years ago. And if they enjoy that, they might tune into what you're doing now.
I don't know why everyone doesn't put their books on Comixology. You should.
Yeah.
And all due respect to everyone in the small press, there's some fucking awful books on Comixology. You only got to look at the weekly releases.
Yeah.
It's like trawling through fucking Trifle.
It's really...
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And you know me, I love discovering indie gems that no one's ever heard of before, which means you have to sift through a lot of coal.
Yeah, there's a few clicks I've gone, fuck it, please load the next page quickly.
Yeah.
Manuel A. Carmona.
There you go.
Truthful Comics.
Well,
he was yeah, thank you very much for the kind words. But
it's like a picture of his Kindle or something.
Kindle, yeah,
that's right.
With the Red Mask from Mars on it, and I was like, okay, I remember that comic.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blast in the past, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely. And so and stuff like that's just nice to hear. But that's what it means. Like, you never know. You know, the new readers. There's something about a new reader that's got nothing to, you know, doesn't listen to this show, isn't aware of the UK scene or whatever, and there's something about tapping into that new readership. There's nothing quite like it, is it? It's like it's a drug hit, isn't it? Really, you're just sort of like, wow, and it just gets you really buzzed about making comics, which is cool. Exactly. And that's what we need to do. We need to push beyond the boat, like Tony said, and we've always been saying, you've got to push beyond the boundaries of what you think your work can achieve.
Stop eating the sweet corn.
Oh God. Yeah, body doesn't digest it as well.
I was trying to get like a Viper issue out to Starburst magazine, is it? Star something? Can't remember the name.
Yeah, Starburst. Yeah,
that's got quite a lot of eyes on it, and I want to send out a physical copy.
Yeah,
I sent out a physical copy to the reviewer of the 40 Times, who in Germany. So
he's I'm in contact with him. He's all right,
okay.
man. He's a nice guy. I speak to him. He reviews quite a lot of no-brow books. I sent him the one about UFOs.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, man. He is a really nice guy. Yeah. He was at Thought Bubble.
Oh, brilliant. Cool.
Yeah. When it comes to those sort of publications like Starburst or things like that, and dare I say it, the name publications, when you email them and send your stuff out, how many times should you contact them if you don't hear anything back? Should you contact them if you don't hear anything back? Back in the day when I was sending stuff out and I gave a shit, I never heard a sausage. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
If it just from being on the other side of it, if I get sent a book and I don't review it and the bloke asks me why, I'll be honest with him.
Fair enough.
It'll be like, look, I haven't had time, or to be fair, mate, it just really didn't connect with me, and then I'll have a conversation with them. I tried to write a review today actually for a book, and it just wasn't happening, and it was just too dull for words, and I had to stop. But he's quite a big name, this dude, and I'm sure he won't reach out. But if he did, I'd just say no, it just wasn't working. It was too by the numbers, man. It wasn't for me. What are they going to say?
Yeah. I treat it kind of like a job interview thing. Like if you apply for a job and you don't hear back, I wouldn't really dream of calling them up and say why haven't you got back to me?
I think you can check
let it
that.
Slide.
You can check that they received your CV. I suppose you can check they received your comic. Just checking if you got it, man. No pressure, but if you do get a chance, let us know, because
that's fair.
Be interested on your feedback, and I think that's fine. I'm fine with that.
And we've certainly had messages like that at the Awesome Pod. When
we have.
Sent us stuff. And thank you to anyone that's.
Everyone's been really polite to us, to be fair, and we don't get to everything. That's
no,
really
I have to
true.
apologise. It's not like 9 times out of 10 for me. It's not a conscious decision that I'm not going to read this or I'm not going to review this. It's just that I sort of see it and go, oh shit, I get around to that, and then 2 weeks later, it's fucking just gone.
I do think the best way to get hold of us is via Twitter. The Facebook group message thing, just kind of, I can never find it again.
Yeah,
it's
I
fucking
can't.
mess.
Fucking shit thing, innit? Yeah.
So I see a message, but one of us might get to it first, and then that message, you can't seem to fucking find it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when it's a new message, you can find it, but if there's nothing there, you're like, I don't know where this has gone.
I think you have to go to the page and then look at the messages for the page or something, because whenever I look at my messages, it doesn't come up with a page. It's fucked up. Yeah.
The awesome Twitter is by far the easiest way, or the email that's on the Podbean page. But don't send it via the Facebook if you listen to this, because it is a bit of a mess. I don't understand it.
So it's at the Awesome Pod. If you've got something you want to send us, and DM us on there.
Are our DMs open, baby cakes, on that?
I think they are.
They are, but I'll have to double check to see if.
It depends if we're following you or you're following us or something. But sometimes you can just leave them open, can't you?
Yeah. But you don't want all the randoms, do you?
Yeah, but doesn't that go into a different thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like on Messenger, where if you're not following the person, it goes into a different menu.
Oh, it goes like a message request thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, we're doing IT as we speak. This is This is
so
fascinating audio. Isn't it? This is so good, isn't it?
Fucking hard.
Yeah. Check your spam bin. Ooh. Oh no, that sounds disgusting.
Should we?
I saw her spam bin. She was getting on a bit.
Sling in a review, because we got 2 reviews, haven't we?
I thought we were going to do the. I can do. Yeah.
Well, I
thought we were going to do the what we're waiting for this year, or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
We haven't even got into that yet.
Fuck me, yeah. Just rocking the boat there.
He's changed things.
I know.
To him. I don't understand it.
New Year's Dan. That's what it is.
It's ever since he's got rid of that picture from behind him on his.
It's still there. I'm cursed. I put in a picture in my Sky background to make a lad's joke to make Tony and Vince laugh, and like a large boobed lady. And now every time I load up Skype, it's there. I can't get rid of it. Change the background every time. It keeps coming back.
It never stops amusing me every time.
Yeah. Because when I start the call, it's not there, and suddenly it just flicks up. And like,
that's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, we've also got a few little comments and stuff to read out from the people on the social media as well. But 2021. What are we looking forward to? What are we hoping to see more from this year? I mean, I can't I can't sit down and go, I'm looking forward to this title, that title, or any other title. But I'd probably say this every year, and it's such a cop out. But it is literally, I'm looking forward to discovering that comic that I don't know exists yet, that absolutely blows my fucking head off, which normally happens a couple of times a year.
Barry Windsor-Smith's comics coming out this year.
Nice.
What's that?
Watch this space. Barry Windsor-Smith, Monsters. It's been coming for about, 10 years, I think. That's gonna win all the awards this year. I put my money on it.
Oh, right, cool.
Timestamp it, baby. Timestamp it, because we're gonna. Yeah, I think that's gonna win a load of awards this year.
Blimey, make sure you. Awards. What do awards mean, eh?
Well, getting to. Would you like me to make my first point?
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing a value in well-constructed plots, dialogue, and gorgeous art. For a change, call me revolutionary if you want to. But this worshipping of childlike story baby talk is hurting people with real ability. I think with the shrinking comic market out there, we've got some people who fucking can draw like nothing else in this world. People who have spent years like honing the craft of writing a comic. And we seem to be turning our backs a bit on them for YA baby talk.
Yeah.
And I want to see a return to people who know, we wouldn't get a Frazetta now, we wouldn't get a like a Barry Windsor-Smith. These are these people, look at their art, it's so incredible. And instead we've just got shit Steven Universe rip-offs that make me want to vomit.
And some of those also some of those fantastic artists, you see incredible artists working for the bigger companies as well.
Yeah.
And and sometimes when I look at the pages, I think that's absolutely stunning, that's absolutely gorgeous. And they're just, well, this is from my point of view, probably lots of people know about them, but it feels like that no one is noticing them as much because no one cares as much about those publishers of those comics anymore.
Yeah, everyone just wants that cool, hip thing of the moment nonsense.
It felt like, when obviously comics first hit my vein, if you know what I mean, and you get that sort of like fucking Matrix moment, it just felt like, look at this artist, oh my god, everyone was talking about it.
Miller, look when Frank Miller burst on the scene. When Dark Knight came out, and everyone was going fucking nuts. Sinkovich or someone like that. That blew our minds,
And there's so much that we've talked about it before, that art has become so much more sort of detailed and intricate and takes an awful lot of work. And it's beautiful to see. You see pages, work in progress and stuff, and it's amazing to see. And a lot of these people, I love seeing these pages, but I'm not reading the book, so it goes under my radar. It completely goes under my radar, which is just unfortunate. I kind of I almost want to see more love shown to the craft.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I was going with, man. The only bright light this year is the love that Martin Simmons is getting, and his art is utterly beautiful and is incredible. And honestly, boggles the mind how he produces it to me. And I think we need to recognise people like that more and more, because there's so many great artists out there, working on, I don't know, Aaron Kuder on Fantastic Four, which is a comic I just read before we came online. There's so many people out there, but everyone just wants to pick up that one crap thing they don't need to know anything about, that they can read and go OMG a lot to their friends. And they just need, if they just open their minds to some of this beautiful art out there, it would just these people, they spend years working on their craft.
I don't want to post a page of my comic and one of the comments be, are you okay, hun, DM me. You know what I mean?
Why? Because I say that every time, Dan.
Yeah,
all you have to do is send me a DM, babes, and I would know. But you never
delete later.
Never respond. Is it because I'm using the Facebook DMs?
Come on, that's the bitter old man starter for 10.
Yeah, I've still got bitter old man bit coming, because there's that article that ran last week that said how the comic industry has had how it bounced back or kind of retained its numbers while COVID.
Oh yes, so this was
fucking bollocks.
This was the Hollywood Reporter, wasn't it?
Yeah,
something like that.
It's an obvious puff piece. That they've been paid to do by presumably someone at Warner or Disney, because the idea that the comics has had a great year last year was just patently wrong. It's false. It can't be right.
I mean, you said it first to me, so they don't even mention the DC thing.
No.
Yeah.
Like the layoffs at DC, there's absolutely just like multiple layoffs, and then you got like loads and loads of comic shops shutting. Diamond just absolutely falling to pieces.
Yeah.
How can you say that this year has been a good year for comics?
There's been no comic shops open for big chunks of it.
Yeah. And we're like, there is comics are thriving creatively from everyone out there wanting to make comics or trying to make comics, but you also got to look at this from the business and the number standpoint. We don't like to a lot of the time, but when someone's sort of saying, comics are doing really well, no,
it's not.
Look at the numbers. When we think of comics, it's if you say to someone comics, and they say, oh, of course, Superman isn't selling 70,000 copies, but there is an issue that is, and I bet you couldn't tell me what it is, because when I saw the list, because there is what was that list that we were looking at?
There's that list that I think the Perch guy put up, and it was like the sales of graphic novels and
on Amazon, wasn't it?
Yeah, and,
graphic novels.
It was Dogman, wasn't it?
Dogman, and is it Smile by Rager Tiger?
And it absolutely just
and we're talking the Scholastic community and stuff like that, isn't it? That's what that dwarfs anything. It's like if you think we a lot of the time when us or a lot of all these other comic podcasts out there, especially people that talk about Marvel and DC, we're always talking about a bubble. When you step outside that bubble and you look to European comics, the numbers that they're selling of these like bande dessinée and stuff like that.
To adults as well, man.
Yeah,
not to teenagers and to adults. The American comic industry seems to be selling a lot of comics to kids, which is not bad. I kind of agree with it.
Fair point.
As long as we keep them up the ladder, we keep pushing them up the ladder with more and more intelligent and more intricate and more detailed things until they become that teenage 20-something, 30-something comic reader.
This is what I hope from those sort of numbers and like Dogman and all these other things, which I don't know about. Although I'm quite intrigued. I'm quite intrigued to check it out now. To be honest, just to see what's so popular. But whatever it is, if kids are reading this, I'm like, fucking read as many as you want, because whatever your favourite comic is, it's a comic.
But you kind of have to be like real in as much that if you start saying our comics doing fine, and then you look at the numbers and they're adding in like those young adult books, and then they're adding in manga sales and stuff, you're kind of lying. You're lying to yourself and lying to everyone that this is doing really well, and it's not. And I'm not sort of like, oh, doom and gloom, but you got to realize, like, if your strategy and technique isn't working, the thing is to not keep on doing it and massage the numbers rather than change what you're doing and try and improve it and get better. I mean, the only thing the good thing about the decline of the bigger boys is the fact that it hopefully might shift more of a spotlight onto small press and indie people who are kind of delivering what I think people are after. The kind of
there's a really interesting interview with the Bad Ideas guys on 11 O'Clock Comics a couple of weeks ago. Did you guys listen to it?
No, I'm a bit behind them.
Dinesh and a couple of the others. Dinesh is the guy who was at Valiant when Valiant was just storming it all the time.
Yeah,
and he got bought out, I think, by a Chinese company? Is that right? I think bought him out. But he talks a lot about what's going on, and he tries to stay positive, and you don't hear him say a huge amount negative about Valiant. Although I get the impression he's like, what happened there? But what he does say is he says that Marvel, he says you go in any comic shop in America, there's this thing, isn't there? There's 1,500 comic shops in North America. And you go in anyone, they'll sell Marvel, but not all of them carry DC, is something interesting that he said, which I found interesting. Okay. Something I didn't realise. I thought it was just every comic shop would be sort of 50-50 DC Marvel, but he says, no, that's not the case.
Really?
Right.
So Marvel seemingly are doing okay, doing all right, but DC are having some real issues, aren't they? And that's a real worry for me when you think the company that has Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and they can't. What's going on? Aquaman, which is a huge, not critically acclaimed, but sales-wise, a huge movie.
Yeah.
And
I don't. They shifted books.
I mean, then there's the grumpy old man DNA's kicking in again. What happens with these IPs and these licenses? Something struggles, something wobbles. The company is like, Is this worth it? And the bigger company, let's face it, the House of Mouse, normally sweeps in and goes, we'll have that because we can. I don't, and I mean, this probably won't happen. Timestamp this just in case it does this year. But just say the Warner's comics IPs, the DCs, eventually one day got bought out by Disney. I don't want my peanut butter mixed with my chocolate.
No. Yeah, I know what you mean. No.
I'm still a little bit grumpy about them having Aliens and Predator to be honest.
Particularly jazz me. Like,
that's nothing against all these creators that are going to be working on it, because I know they're going to be working.
There'll be like a comic villain of the week, and then that'll be it.
Yeah. It just like Malibu. Do you remember Malibu when
I bought some Malibu off eBay just today.
Yep.
I was on board for that. They did that. All the new heroes coming out. I was loving some of that.
Yeah, I like Solitaire and Firearm and Hard Case and Prime. Yeah. One of the reasons, just to quickly interrupt you there, when you talk about the IP stuff becoming over to Marvel, one of my worries of that is this. So for example, Predator and Aliens, as I understand it, are now at Marvel, aren't they? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Predator and Aliens enter the Marvel universe, and they fight, I don't know, Captain America or Spider-Man or something like that. And they're in the regular issues of Spider-Man or whatever. What happens when that IP leaves Marvel? Does that mean that we won't be able to get those issues on the Marvel app or on Comixology, for example?
Yeah, like because the rights are no longer there. But they own them exclusively now, as far as I'm...
But they own Conan, and Conan left them for, what, 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
And they didn't have the rights to the Conan comics. And I wonder if because we live in the digital age now, because Conan appeared in issues of What If, and then Conan's in the Avengers now, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
If Conan goes back to Dark Horse, does that mean that we won't be able to get Marvel won't stop producing those?
Yeah, if you have those digital issues, they did the old Amazon of just reaching in onto your device and taking them off.
Yeah.
And so I paid for them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Go on.
Also, I don't know why this just cropped up now. Where's Angela in the Marvel Universe at the moment?
I've seen her for a while.
Because she was in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
In the Guardians, yeah.
I
don't know, man. I think the thing is with her, I think they thought she was going to be a much popular character than she had her own series, didn't she?
Yeah.
Much more popular character than she was, and she wasn't in the end. I mean, I've read.
I mean, they didn't really market it that much, to be honest. I didn't see.
No. I've read over 100 Marvel comics in the last 2 days, and there's been not a mention of her, and a lot of them were Thor and Guardians and all sorts of things.
Right. Okay. I guess it's frustrating because it's one of those things of the readers aren't responding to this. We'll just change it up and get her out, and it seems very much kind of like by the numbers. This is playing well. Let's go with this. If it's not, we knock it on the head.
I do think because I decided to make the most of the Marvel app this weekend. Yeah, and I read a load of stuff that I'd either just started or hadn't really got into. So, for example, I read the whole of the Immortal Hulk. I think I'd read the first 2 issues and hadn't caught up. So I read the whole of that. And the thing is, I noticed with Marvel is they go in 10-year, or they go in, it's shrinking now, less than 10-year cycles. So everything I'm reading now feels as if it's in this conjoined universe, with the X-Men on Krakoa, and you've got the Immortal Hulk, and you've got the Avengers over here, and all this sort of thing. But that'll all change, man. That'll be different soon.
Yeah,
that'll all change, and it'll suddenly feel like being in a different universe every so often. I think with Marvel, you kind of got to be prepared to do that. It's not all good. There's some crap in there. Yeah. There's good stuff, but there's some awful crap in there. But yeah.
Regarding kind of positive, I'm hoping creators have kind of like adjusted to what the lockdown and working from home and whatever situations kind of fallen you, and kind of been able to say, right, I can start getting some comics made now. I know there's been many that people have been, but I think a lot of people also put projects off. But I think this is a bit of a kind of me projecting it, but I feel like you've got to kind of get off and start doing it. You can't keep waiting, because like the shift in timeline we've dealt with what's been going on, it doesn't seem to be, from what I can see, it's shifting months and months ahead now, because I thought, we're going back to the office we'll be back in by Christmas. And now
I'm meant to be at an American convention in June, and there's no way I'm going there now, man.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. I've booked a holiday in August next year, and I thought that's no problem. Now I've been like, fucking hell, I can make sure we have insurance for that.
I've got a feeling that our first convention may well be Thought Bubble.
It may well be Thought Bubble. Yeah. So, so you kind of have to. I feel like you have to kind of adjust what you're doing and think, right, this shit isn't going to be ending anytime soon. And if I wait for it to be over before I get back to normal, I start making comics, that might be another 8 months to a year. We don't know. So I feel like you kind of make that adjustment and start making that comic and getting it out there.
What are we going to do for episode 300?
Fuck knows, man. Yeah,
it's only a few months away. Yeah.
I think just going to smoke some crack and see how the show turns out.
I'd love to do a live pub quiz on comics.
That was good. That was good fun when we did 200, wasn't it?
Yeah. If we had teams of 3 or 4 people in a pub,
that'd be good fun. Yeah. Or just a live drink and draw.
A live drink and draw.
Actual drink and draw in a pub would be good. Yeah.
That would be great.
I think. Can I just name one? Moving on. Can I do another one? Do you mind if I just bring up another one? So mine is the return of the comic shop. As a centre for comics. I think they are in many ways our spiritual homes. That's where we go. Whether even if you get doorstep delivery or you go through Get My Comics or whatever the American version of it is, I think the excitement about being in a comic shop, looking at the racks, buying stuff, looking at it, browsing, talking to people about comics, that's where we belong. That's where our hobby kind of is. I think even beyond conventions. Conventions are nice, but it's not the home of comics, is it? It's the Marvel Comics on the shelf for me is the home. You know?
I mean, the conventions is the experience. It's the weekend experience, or it's the day experience, or it's whatever. But the comic shop, those people are working fucking hard all year round to get people through those doors, or to recommend comics and stuff. I follow a few comic book stores on social media, and it's great to see, like, oh, here's our shop window, here's what we recommend this week, and and it's these are different kind of stores, like Big Bang or the Traveling Man's, all kinds, whether it's franchises or small indies or
Page 45 is another one I follow.
Destination Venus, stuff like that. And it's always here's what we recommend, and it's good. Like, it's not there, here's what we recommend, these are proper comics. It's always like,
it never is.
It's a wide range of, like, just check this out because it's really good. I love seeing that, and these people work bloody hard, and especially like the people that are doing the social media as well, because that's it's like doing a Kickstarter, but you're selling the shop all year round. If you think about it,
it's 24/7. Most comic shops are open 7 days a week now. That's the home for comics for me. And conventions are nice little holidays where we all get to go away and chat about comics together. But to go and to have that availability, I used to go into like Orbital twice a week and chat to people and annoy them and think, oh, I might buy this from IDW, or that sort of thing. But just I miss it so much, man.
And hopefully, obviously things will return to some kind of normal is a
subjective
word now. Well, it never has been with us, is it, on the show? But obviously, things have been very, very hard for comic shops as well, because they're small independent businesses. A niche within, we say this show is a niche within a niche within a niche. And it is I
actually think the comic shops have a personality. I think when you're talking about the London shops, you know what you're getting with. You could say, oh, the people who go to Orbital, the people who go to Film Planet, the people who go to Gosh, the people who go to Mega City. You know what you're getting there.
I mean, they are the record store of now.
In
a lot of ways, aren't they? Walking in, and look, I'm sure there's loads of record stores about. I know that. I haven't bought vinyl in years, but Jesus Christ, just give me a break. But you know what I mean? That, when you used to go into those, buy an album, whatever, and those sort of small indie record stores that were playing music you never heard of, and you got introduced to new things. Comic stores have stepped into that sort of realm.
What was the first comic shop you guys went into? Can you remember?
Yeah, mine was the one in Shops down in Croydon.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
Mine was Floppy Tongue Comics in Salisbury. I remember that because it was so strange.
I've been the Fan Zone, my one.
Okay, I think you're right, man. Actually, yeah. Mine was the. I remember we were on a school trip to go and watch Prime Minister's Question Time, because you used to, I think you still can. You can go in and watch Prime Minister from the balcony, and I skived off with a mate, and we went to the Forbidden Planet. It used to be in Denmark Street, where the guitars are. Yeah, I remember it very well.
Nice. That's a good shout.
Yeah.
rather than go to Prime Minister's question.
I think I saw Maggie. She sat there with her handbag, and then I legged it off. Yeah.
I think this year as well we'll keep checking in with stores, and we'll try and get some other sort of comic store guests on just to talk.
I mean, Alex is a great guy from Strange Apparitions. I speak to him most weeks actually, and I've been getting stuff through the post from him because he's I've stuck a couple of I've got a sort of small pull list with him, and he sends stuff through, and he's keeping it real there. So, and who in their right mind? God bless them, but who in their right mind would think that's a good business opportunity?
Yeah, I know. I know.
My heart absolutely goes out to those guys.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Running.
Yeah. Some of them who hustle, they do well, but it's not an easy. It's not like a day 9 to 5, is it? You know.
Yeah. So expect to hear over the year. We'll check in with a few different comic stores. Probably some new guests. We're always on the search. You know, you're always going to hear new voices on this show. So, you know, you never know who you're going to hear from, and we'll keep checking in throughout the year, see how everyone's doing and everything like that. So we hope because they're fighting the good fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to sound like a downer on the new year, but kind of.
It's a tough year. Basically, we're hoping for the best, aren't we? Really?
God, yeah. And we're all going to still be working and doing stuff, so it's not like that's going to change.
Oh, we're not finished, are we? Because I've got a couple more.
Yeah, and
no, go for it.
And I've got one that I'm going to step in with, and this was a little statement that I sent to the lads on WhatsApp as well.
Oh yeah.
From the cartoonist and one half of the Two Dead Queers, K.M. Claude, who said, cooking up some essay zines with the most incendiary titles and themes like, let's see if I can get even more cancelled. And the second tweet was going for incendiary to be both clickbaity but also a warning, because to get deep we got to get weird and uncomfortable, and I don't need no crybabies who can't take the roller coaster. Plus sometimes you just like being a little punk, you know. I approve of that message.
Mate, I'm agree with that. The amount of people who told me, don't call it the Hall Chronicles is so insulting. People would be so upset. Fuck you.
It was such a, and obviously K.M. Claude is an artist that does a lot of erotic sort of horror artwork and stuff, and they follow us on Twitter as well. So nice. Hello. But I was just sort of like, yes, that's
yeah. Who thought that the new generation would be the prudes? Do you remember when you were little and your grandma says, don't say bastard, son, it's rude? Now it seems to be like all the 20-somethings.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
You've got to take some chances, man.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be continually like standards change, and we get freer and freer, and people are more accepting of stuff. But we seem to be taking a Yui on that one.
Everyone wants to have an argument with you about saying fuck or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think we need to be a bit extreme and take a chance and do stuff that is experimental. I think there's not enough of it going on. That's why everything seems to be like fucking autobiographical comics about sitting on your couch. I'm bored to death with it.
I'll tell you what, I was watching a bit of like just YouTube videos as I was doing a bit of work, and some brass I come up, and I scrolled down to the comments, and they won't make these TV shows like this today, and like they won't. There's no way, because people can't even take it as the satire and what it's satirizing.
I know we sort of joked about it last week, but actually calling around women ruin comics because we're being fucking sarcastic. Yeah. Somebody's going to take that the wrong way because people are just fucking stupid. Yeah. We called it that, and then we went and named about 30 comics that were great and were made by women. Yeah. So it's like people just don't understand it, do they?
Sometimes I don't know if people don't understand it, or they willingly, maliciously misconstrue and sort of say, oh, look, they've done this. And they might listen to the whole fucking show and they know that it's not the case, but they still persist with that anyway. We've all had that, like, to
bring themselves attention. That's the thing.
We've had like I've had stuff framed saying, "Oh, is he talking about this?" No, I'm not. You can, it's fucking stupid.
I think that's one of leads into one of mine. Is I think we need to stop having this fucking non-stop. Everything seems to be an argument.
Yeah.
And it's producing factions within factions within factions, and I think it's just hurting comics. It's that old analogy I give of being in a bar and everyone's having a fight around me, and I just want to read a comic, and I have to duck from swinged punches and moving my pint so it doesn't get spilled. And there's like everyone else is fighting, and I just want to read comics.
Yeah, it is that kind of like breaking down. I mean, that's not just comics, is it? It's kind of pretty much everything. Like people arguing over fucking everything, and it's frustrating when
that's the current favorite. Yeah.
We've done the old let's just talk about this, and we get called out for that. So why aren't you saying stuff about stuff? It's like, can't win it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's a world of eggshells, but sometimes you just got to put some boots on and just get walking.
I feel like if you do what Tony did with Atomic Hercules and said, "This is what it is," and if you don't like it, too bad. Fuck you.
Because there is a difference. If someone's being openly and actively malicious, hateful, or horrible, then get them out. I don't want that. I don't want that part of my community. If someone's just horrible, subversive it can be a completely different thing. You don't. I loved the term of like, I don't want anyone who can't take the roller coaster. Do you know what I mean? Because these things are hugely popular, but they're popular because there's a danger to them. They make there's a certain element of like, I don't know what's going to happen.
And what it should be is like, that's not for me, but other people enjoy it. I'll fucking get on the teacup ride.
Yeah. You know I mean, for instance, let's talk about the erotic comics or the not safe for work or the porn comics. Not for me.
I mean, everyone goes
cleaning up on Kickstarter.
Yeah, but everyone fucking moans about stuff. Try going out into the wide world and look and see what's going on, man.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone says, "Oh, look, this is quite sexist." This comment. Have you seen the porn that's out there? Yeah. Who's saying anything about that?
Well, by the way, that's not going to be a recommendation section.
It is frustrating. I know we sometimes I feel like we go over the same stuff, but I find it deeply frustrating at times.
Yeah,
that it's so divisive at times. That's why we try and keep it like on the level in the Awesome Talk on the Facebook group, just trying to,
I genuinely think that people have forgotten what they're arguing about sometimes, but they can't be wrong.
I did have
some arguments have gone on so long on in the internet between certain people who we all know. I just think they can't probably remember why they started.
I think I mentioned I put something up and then Gareth objected to it, and then he said, "Actually, I don't know why I did that. It's just like the instinct to respond to argue." And it's like, I've done it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done it. You just be a contrarian because you're online. It feels like that's what you're supposed to be doing all the time.
Yeah, I think people do object to stuff for attention. I think there is that, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think I'm certainly living my life away from social media at the moment, and I'm enjoying it much more.
Yeah, I've tried to take a step back, and
I think people do get egomaniacal. People do get obsessed. People do get very uptight and anxiety ridden around what goes on.
Yeah, don't
it's
live
just
on it, man.
It's just a bit of writing, man. Yeah, calm yourself down. Yeah.
Yes. But talking about the good things, though, we can do on social media. I'm starting off another drawing.
Oh yes, that's good.
When lockdown first started, it kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. We did like a 2 or 3 week drawing project, and there was no kind of strict rules on it. We give you a subject and off you go. And I was going to announce it. Well, it'll be today when you listen to this. It's going to be self-portraits. I thought we'd start off the year with something kind of like an absolute solid, a golden oldie.
Yeah. For
the year 2021, you're going to draw a self-portrait of yourself. Any style, any medium, anything you want.
Any body part.
We'll stick up a...
Now, hold on. We might have to put... Let's just...
I've drawn mine. Well, technically, I've drawn round it.
A0, wasn't it, Tony?
Yeah, I didn't need a shot. I didn't need a lot of pen and ink in it. Yeah. That's good, man. I'm looking forward to that. Even I'm going to have a go at that.
I rarely draw self-portraits. And
although there are a lot of people who look like you out there. I know that Gary's put one up this week.
The relentless anti-Dananism goes on.
Look, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna feel sorry for you.
You get it.
The amount of times you've done me up like a right fucking kipper over the years. I'm not...
There are a lot of Vince-alikes, though, aren't there? Out there?
Yeah, but there's only one of me, baby.
You're right.
Speaking
of
projects,
like you.
Yeah. Speaking of projects for the new year, I'd like to announce my new review website, neverwriteanything.com, which I actually managed to create a website in 2 days. I was quite proud of myself.
Well done.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a... I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I was sort of pushed onwards by the need for proper comics criticism, which I'm not seeing.
Is the blog migrating into this? Is that kind of
yeah?
What
So
it
everything
is?
now is now on there.
Fantastic.
So it's mostly going to be reviews. It's not going to be like day to day or convention. It might be a bit of convention review and stuff like that. But I'm trying to keep it strictly to literate reviews of comics, whether not like, oh, they're good, they're bad. It's good. It's not going to be that. It's going to be like an examination of the comic. There's 2 up there, I think, as we speak. And there's links to podcasts and us, and there's like a links page, and there's an about page and stuff like that as well. But I just wanted a bit of a home, because obviously I've got Big Cartel, I've got my podcast, I've got the blog, and I just thought I just need to draw it all into one website. And I thought, right, it's about time. I'm sick of fucking the stupid, beautiful, adjective, idiotic reviews that are going up online at the moment. I thought I'd put my money where my mouth is, and I was having a conversation with a couple of people, and I said, I've done it. I said I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm now doing a review site. So
fantastic.
If you send a comic into there, it may not get reviewed because it's just me, but I'll endeavour to get to everything that I can.
Would you ever consider, not that I'm putting myself up for the role, would you ever consider taking on more reviewers, or is
Yes,
this
I
like
would.
a personal thing? Okay.
Yeah, I'd consider. I'm thinking of adding a page that's more sort of long form criticism and history and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
Fair enough.
Other thing I'm doing. Yeah, yeah, but
Good shout.
yeah, created it over the weekend. I've changed it slightly today, so I had it as bright red. I don't know why for 24 hours. I've changed it now, but yeah, and thanks to the PXD, Pete Davis, because he did the logo for me.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
He's a good guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that, I mean, I know we've been like, oh god, let's hope we don't see more of this, or like, there was a slight solemn tinge to some of our hopes, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
but it's another year of comics. Like,
Oh, I love comics, man.
Yeah.
I can't do without it.
Before.
Yeah.
yeah. And every week we're reading amazing stuff, or sometimes, although sometimes reading's difficult. I didn't manage to read as much as I usually do last year. I did
away from me.
it got away from me a bit, as did like comics creation and stuff, and that's something that we try and get back into this year, and hopefully when it comes to the end of the year, we'll be talking about all the things that, wasn't this great, this book, this creator, and hopefully we'll have another amazing all-round awesome award.
I've just reread a load of stuff from last year on the Marvel app, and I'm already thinking, I should have voted for this in the. It should have been my favourite.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I wasn't reading the right sort of lists, but Kent State wasn't spoken about as enough for my.
No.
What, in other sites, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. What's going on there?
Suspect, because some of the stuff I saw coming out, it's just the amount of work alone that went into Kent State is just staggering. I just
if your
can't
site's
look
not
at the
mentioning
appendices
it,
and
if your site's not mentioning it, almost discredits your site to me a bit.
Yeah.
Or
It's probably best get on it, because it's really, really good, and then
it is getting a lot of awards, it's getting a lot of nominations, and it's on a lot of best of lists and stuff like that. And obviously we all follow and chat to Durf, don't we? And it's good to see. But
yeah. Is there anything else? We got a couple of shout outs, haven't we? Or have you?
Well, we got the charity shout-outs.
Shall we also thank you for everyone that got in touch with us. We put a shout out on the Twitter.
That one.
Yeah, I just run through a few of these. We asked what projects and comics have you got lined up for the forthcoming year? Are there any working practices you're looking to adapt to help your creative process? Let's run through the list. Jordan Thomas, lovely Jordan Thomas.
Guest.
Yeah, and sent us a bunch of calendars.
Oh, I got a calendar through. Yeah, thanks him today.
Yeah,
which was lovely.
Cheers,
amazing.
dude. That was awesome.
That was very kind of you. He said, my first project of the new year is weird work with the one and only Shaky Kane. I've got a bunch of other scripts to get done, so my main technique is going to be just keep writing and don't think about how much there is to do. Which is fair enough. Our friends at That Comic Smell, I said, we are just making as many comics as our bodies, minds and wallets will allow. Our David and Mike both have more comics coming this year. Our long-awaited That Comic Smell comic number 1 is coming at the start of this year. Looking forward to that. With an eye for more. Creating is the key to carrying on. Aside from that, we are, as always, hoping to see the new comics coming from all angles. Long creative folks continuing. Love creative. New people putting their. Well, I was just. Yeah. New people putting their first comics out. Folks trying something new. Publishers showing us more from further afield. Comics in all caps. Couldn't agree more. At Skinny Drawn Boy. Going to get this first book out in the next month or so, then we'll move on to a new project. Hopefully my process will be a bit more streamlined on the next book. My aim is to get at least 3 books out this year. Good stuff. Well, we look forward
regular at the Drink and Draws as well. He's a good egg.
Yeah. And we look forward to all of them. 3 books out this year. Bring it on. I will salute you. Aaron Rackley. We've spoke about him many times.
Yeah.
He says he's going to try and make himself right every day, no matter what, even if it produces nothing. Want to expand the world that he's created in the Spark. The Spark, that lovely comic that everyone should.
I think our comic's in it, isn't it? I think did they release the 4th one?
I think
is that right?
Yeah,
on digital. I think it's just come out.
I think it's out and about.
Yeah.
Chris Mole at Chris Manji. I have a bunch of things in various stages of queued up. Brigantia issue 3. I need to read that. I know it's really good. One pitch which has some good progress on it. 3 single issues to write and a graphic novel to work on. Just going to keep trying to do what I did last year. As much as possible at the weekends. I think a lot of people can agree with that. And he is also, as you know, he's the writer of the Black Rubric, which we're big fans of.
Okay, we just got a new one in actually from Dan Slott. It says, "I might have a snooze."
You do you, Dan. You do you.
Don't hate on Dan.
Yeah, they are legion. At Fred Egg Comics, David Robertson. I'm going to release a comic on the Tay Bridge disaster.
Yes, I've been talking to Dave about this. It's great, yeah.
He's going to put out a one-man anthology, and he's currently writing a long-form comic, 70-ish pages. For the first time, I also plan to use coloured inks that Santa brought me. Oh, that's lovely. No one tell him. Can I
give a little shout out? I'll give a little shout out for Dave as well. Dave and that Comic Smell crew, who are buddies. I got to see their anthology, That Comic Smell comic. That's good, isn't it? I think it's being printed now. I think is what's happening. So you'll be able to order it soon, I'm sure. But it's, to me, when you get an anthology and you don't read everything.
Yeah,
it's rare that you read everything in an anthology, isn't it? It's sort of, you tend to skip the odd story. I didn't skip anything in this one, and it really feels like it's a bunch of mates having a laugh, creating something and putting it out. And good on them. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the physical copy. Yep.
Nice. At Simon L. Reed, 60-plus page watercoloured comic, perhaps a Kickstarter, and a couple of other things he's still working out. At Daniel Calban, American Dreams issue 4 will be on Kickstarter hopefully early this year. All other plans are being made. That's a little bit sinister, isn't it? Blimey, it's like an evil genius.
Genius.
Tom Spark at Sparkface. Got to get my new comic out in the wild with a lovely picture of the misadventures of Spring Hill Jack.
I think he sent us it. I think it's on the Twitter.
Ah, nice one. There we go.
Have a look on the Twitter. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
But he wants to get it out in the wild. That's what I'm saying, Tony.
Good.
For the Joe public, not us.
Not just us.
Not us special kids. And at For Realist, Umberto Isaside. I hope I got that right. I'm working on volume 2 of Horny and High, currently gathering copious notes and images.
That's a hell of a title.
And analysing all the things.
That's life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's gathering copious notes and images and analysing all the things that I wanted to say but didn't fit into last year's volume 1. Which, that's another one to look out for. So thank you for everyone for getting in touch. That's awesome. I love hearing from new voices as well and seeing all the comics that are going to be out this year.
Oh yeah, good, yeah.
It's exciting stuff. And Tony, we got anything else?
No. Do you want to do the intro to the little interview I did now?
Another interview, Tony. What? We've got more audio for people?
Yes. So we were contacted by a webcomic creator called Shiza. I actually don't think that's her proper name, but she asked me to call her that. So there you go. That's what we went with. And she's at Shizamura, 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 on Twitter. I'm going to translate bio. I'm pressing translate bio. Of the only 5 Portuguese whose opinion really matters, I'm already 120 years old and my tension is 120 over 80. There you go. So that's pretty good. I had a great chat with her. Her English is extremely better than that, and it's much better than my Portuguese. But have a listen to that, and it's just sort of 10-minute interview, and she did it as part of the charity drive, which you'll hear more about after this interview. Okay, welcome to another Awesome Comics podcast fundraiser interview. I'm here with Shiza, who we'll talk to in a second, but Shiza was very kindly donated to a charity and reaped the rewards of an interview, sadly, with me. No one. I'm sure she's going to be far more interesting than me. But hello, Shiza. How are you?
Hello. Good evening.
Good. Now, I'd not seen your work before. Are you a listener to the podcast, or did you just see this pop up on Twitter or something?
I have seen the podcast being advertised on Twitter, and I have listened to a few episodes.
Oh, brilliant! Good stuff. Yeah. Excellent. Now, Shiza is her English is clearly much better than mine, although she is currently living north of Porto in Portugal. So there you go. So it's another international flavour to our interviews. Last week it was Canada. This week it's Portugal. So cool stuff. Now we're going to talk about your webcomic, which you've also published in volumes, physical volumes as well, haven't you? And I know you kickstart last year, Shiza. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I used the Portuguese platform because Kickstarter is not available in Portugal.
Interesting.
For tax reasons, apparently.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I used a different platform. It's a Portuguese-based one, but it's the same deal, the same functions. People give me money, and then I print books. Brilliant,
good stuff. Out of interest, what's the platform over there called?
PPL.
PPL, interesting. Yeah, good. Because I know that's one of the reasons. We had to chat about this last week. One of the reasons a lot of people go to Indiegogo is because Kickstarter isn't available in their country. And I understand that from what you're saying there, it sounds like there's a tax reason. Okay, good. Now, I've been reading your webcomic, and it is called now, excuse my terrible accent, it's called, how would you, Cirillo? How would you say it?
Usarillo.
Usarillo. Okay, lovely. Now I stuck that through Google Translate because I'm an English oaf, and it came up with the word trouble. But I know in your introduction you say it's the literal translation is more something like knot or entanglement, something like that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a specific kind of knot, although the word is usually used to mean trouble, as you tied yourself into a knot.
I see. Okay. Well, the mystery deepens. Did you want to tell us a little bit about it? About the story, maybe?
About the story? Well, I suppose the characters get themselves into a twisted situation and they have to figure out how to untangle it. So, and it's also very troublesome. So there's a double meaning.
Okay. And it's sort of science fiction based with a touch of fantasy, isn't it? Is that right?
Yes, I enjoy like soft sci-fi.
Okay.
Where you have this mix of technology, but there's also like the other part, the human part that is a little fantasy, but it goes into people the post-human, the people developing powers, or either by nature or by interacting with the technology that they make. Okay. And I always thought that's a very interesting approach to storytelling. So I really wanted to make something about it.
Okay, so what's the general story arc you've got here that people can find? How would you describe it?
Do you want me to give you the pitch of the story?
Yeah, give us a pitch. That's a good one. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, excellent.
Well, basically, what's happened in the story so far, a satellite has crashed into enemy territory, and a task force is sent to retrieve the remains of the satellite because it's an ancient satellite, and it may have information about lost technology and lost knowledge of mankind. However, when the team gets there, they eventually find out that the satellite wasn't the only thing that crashed. And in fact, something else crashed that happens to be alive. And also, because the satellite crashed in enemy land, turns out the enemy also has an eye on it. Okay. And this is where the trouble begins. How are we going to deal with something that's alive and intelligent that has just crashed, while also having the international problem of invading a different country?
Ideal. Brilliant. Good stuff. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to ask you just about your craft, really, about the style of the pages. How often do you put a page out?
I publish one every week.
Oh, cool.
At least I try to.
Nice, good and regular. That's what they like, don't they, in the webcomic world? Yeah. Now, also, your style is very reminiscent to me of manga. Is that an influence of yours?
Yes.
I was going to say Cowboy Bebop, but I'm not a huge manga fan. But is that a good shout? Or?
It's a great show. It's a great manga. So yes, I'm going to take that lead and say that yes, of course, I'm very much inspired. I used to read a lot of manga and watch a lot of anime when I was younger. I think that nowadays, although my style still resembles a little bit, it's also, I hope, differentiated enough for it to be its own thing. But the influences are there, and I can't deny them.
Yeah, there's influences. I wouldn't say it's a manga strip. I'd say you can see the influences. That's where I would go with it, I think.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Now, what's the scene like in Portugal for comics? Is there? See, I always when I've been on holiday to Portugal, as English people do, and they go and get drunk and wear Union Jack shorts and stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, I know we're terrible. And I've tended to pick up like books like Tex and stuff like that in news agents or in shops in Portugal. What is the scene like there for you?
Generally there is a little bit of a comics industry.
Okay.
But it's how am I going to say? It's not very profitable.
Okay.
The people who are working on it are clearly doing it out of passion, because it's not, at least for most people and for the people I know personally, it's something that they do out of love because they can't make a living out of it, although the industry exists. So while we have comic, and also I guess comics are still seen, unlike in for example France, comics are not, where comics are very mainstream and people read comics and you see comic in the newspapers talking about comics. It doesn't happen a lot here, and comics, it's still a very niche thing, and something that in a way it's even considered almost for kids, although we have good stuff happening on that area of comics, but it's still a little on the side, and a lot of people are therefore afraid to make an investment in comics and afraid of growing the industry, so it's a little rough.
I get you.
I've been personally doing everything by myself because that's what I can control. So
yeah, we have a thing over here called the Small Press, and that's what we do on the podcast as a group of creators, and we kind of make enough money to make the next one. Generally, I think is where we're going with it. We'll never be millionaires. Maybe one day, Shiza. Hopefully.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I noticed about your... Sorry, go on. Did I interrupt you?
No, I was just saying keep your hopes up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. Now, the other thing I noticed about your art is you not only do you produce a strip, but every so often there's a little bit of animation in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
How did you come about by that?
Okay, so I am making a webcomic, and I'm going to put the emphasis on the web part.
Okay.
I am a software developer. And I had a little training on the technologies.
Yeah, I get you.
And when I decided to make a webcomic, I really wanted to go and use everything about the website to work together with the comic. So I wanted the ability to have different elements combined. In some pages, I still want the art to be the most important part of it, but I really wanted to have full control of my website and full control of what I can do with it and what elements I can use. So I can have, if I want to, changes in background, changes in the elements that show in the page, and also new elements showing up, like animations. I love doing tiny animations. They are really simple, but
yeah, they're not.
I suppose also because they are simple that they get to be effective.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing is, it's not a cartoon. You're not creating a cartoon there. But for example, there might be a sort of little burst of power from someone. I think the one I just read now, his sort of face morphs and there's a sort of energy around his face, isn't there? So it's not an animation. It's more of an effect, I suppose, would be the way I'd put it, like a little eye-catching effect. Do you find that the pages that you have those little effects on get more hits? Do you find that they're more popular, or?
Not really.
No. Okay.
I have received a lot of compliments on those pages, and I very much appreciate that they are producing the desired effect. But people usually, to get to those pages, they have to read the rest.
I get you. Yeah.
So they don't get more hits.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it's a continuing thing now. Now, how many pages have you done so far?
I think I must have around 300.
You webcomic people
website.
are beasts. I hope that translates nicely. But you webcomic people, they've got a high work ethic. Shiza, I've got to tell you, the Dan who we do the podcast with, he's a webcomic guy, and the pages you put out put normal comics to shame. I'll be honest with you. Now you ran a Kickstarter last year, didn't you, to publish a couple of volumes of it, which I think are still for sale on your site, along with some other goodies. So I'm guessing that the effects have to be toned down. You take that layer off, I'm suggesting, to put in the volume. Is that how you do it, or?
Yeah, basically I try to select the best frames of the animation.
Yeah.
Or in some cases I try to combine them to get a final result. So it's a little different, but it's not that different. Unfortunately, I can't get animated books yet.
Yeah, I know. Maybe one day, eh? Yeah, let's hope. Good. So, what's the future plans you've got for the strip?
Well, I have already planned the current chapter until the end, and as soon as I get this chapter done and the next one, which I hope is going to happen somewhere in the next year, I will publish a third volume.
Will you do the equivalent of Kickstarter for that as well, or?
Yeah, I guess the one I made this year, the last one I made, went pretty well. So I suppose I'm going to do it again.
Brilliant, good stuff. So I mean, the great thing about webcomics, you can track readership and popularity. Is that something you pay a lot of attention to, the analytics of it all?
Well, on one hand, I really appreciate that people visit my website, and I love when people leave me insightful comments. That's my favorite metric.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Otherwise, I only keep metrics from week to week to compare. Is this week doing better than the other? So I don't keep overall stats of everything.
Yeah, I think you can go down a rabbit hole of being a bit obsessed with that as well, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's better. I think it's best for everyone's mental health to just focus in a particular thing.
Yeah.
And instead of having all the numbers, because it's very easy to get obsessed with them. So I'm like, I just want to know if I'm doing worse or better than I did last week, and that's enough for me.
Excellent. That's a nice way to put it. That's a sensible way to do it. Now, where can we find you? And I know there's not just you can look at the webcomic. You can buy volumes of the physical copy of the webcomic. Is that in English and in Portuguese? I'm guessing, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. And you've got some other goodies on your site as well. You sell some other stuff as well, don't you?
Yes. It's mostly extras and tiny stuff like keychains.
Yeah. That's good though, isn't it? I think the badges, keychain things, it draws people in, doesn't it? Especially, do you do conventions in Portugal? Do you have comic conventions or events that you do, or?
Yes, we have a few conventions. A lot of them are more for the anime and manga crowd.
Yeah.
Which is usually also a younger audience, and they have less money to spend, especially on stuff that they don't know.
I get you.
But we have a few. Unfortunately, this year we've had none.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the last one I got to Angoulême in February, and then basically the world closed down. So, yeah, we've had nothing since then, have we? It's a shame.
Yeah. But we have a few conventions. I've been going at least once a year to some conventions, and I enjoy it. This year I was really looking forward to go to Thought Bubble in England.
Oh wow!
It would have been my first international.
Good choice.
Convention.
Yeah, well, they're friends of ours. We like Thought Bubble a lot. They're really nice people, and that's a really friendly event. I think you'll find. Yeah, it's not like we have something over here called MCM, which is very pop culture and cosplay and movies and video games, and it's too much. It's a visual overload, Shiza. But I think Thought Bubble.
I understand.
Yeah, Thought Bubble's a lot nicer. Thought Bubble's friendly, and it's about making your own comics and about seeing people who make their comics, and yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Right. So where can people go to find you, and where can people go to find your books?
Well, they can find well, my website is sarilho.net. So SARILHO.NAET.
Yep.
And if you put a /LOJA, loja in Portuguese for store.
Right. Okay. But I think if you go to the first page, there's a tab to store.
Yeah, there's a tab with store.
Yeah,
if you don't know the Portuguese, it's there, and you can find it easily.
Cool.
Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter sometimes at Shizamura. So that's SHIZAMURA.
Yeah, so
yes.
SHIZ.
I can spell.
Yeah, you can. So I'll spell it out again for you. SHIZAMURA. Shizamura, which is how we got in touch, didn't we? That's how you came into us. And do you have like an Instagram and stuff like that as well? Is that a big thing in Portugal?
It is, but I have an Instagram, but I'm not very active there.
Okay, so best place to find you is the website, where you can go and read the comics, and you can click on the tab and buy the books, or you can do both. You can follow Shizamura on Twitter. That's lovely. Thanks for that. That's great. It shows the power of the podcast, doesn't it? I get to speak to somebody from Canada last week and someone from Portugal this week. It's marvellous. Brilliant stuff.
Going international.
Yes, us. Look at that. Yeah. Great, Shiza. Well, I shall say goodbye to you now, and we'll probably continue chatting after I turn off the recording. But thanks for that, mate. That's really kind of you.
It's been great. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
There you go, folks. Yeah, more.
There you go.
Yet another new creator for you to.
Got two more
follow.
coming of that. People donate. Got under the wire to get an interview. Yeah.
Yes, and thank you very much to everyone that got in touch, or like we say, pledge some money to charity. And yes, over December 2020, for the whole of it, we were running a little charity drive to basically just support good causes. We picked Cancer Research UK as our sort of choice, but it was literally just pledge some money to whatever charity is near and dear to your heart. Just let us know, just donate direct to them. We didn't take any money. We weren't a middleman. It was literally, if you do this, we'll talk to you on the show, or there'll be artwork, or there'll be all kinds of things, or you'll just get a badge for being a good egg. A good egg is now a thing now. Being an awesome podcast, a good egg is now an official
badge
thing.
Badge is created by Sarah Harris.
Sarah Harris, yep. Yes, so there's a couple more interviews we're going to release over the next couple of weeks to do with this as well, from all the donations. And in total, you lovely people, not us, you amazing people, raised £759 in total for charitable causes. That's
good, man.
That's mind blowing. That's
great.
That's hundreds of percents over what I thought we were. I thought it was just going to be a fun little thing, and if we got 200, then it would have been
amazing,
epic. But
we're sitting at 700 odd.
Yep, and that is over. That's during the festive period and Christmas, where I know where also money is very important to a lot of people at the same time, and I know these charitable causes are very well worth it. We got notified of some different ones. Like I say, there was Cancer Research, but
a couple of our American buddies did different charities and stuff like that. But that's fine. That's good for us.
Yep. And they were all to brilliant causes. So thank you to everyone that took part. We will probably do this again next year as well.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes, please. Yeah. I've got a little list of people. I know we ran through them a couple of episodes ago, didn't we? But just the latest few donators. So I run through them. Gabby Scanlon, who's a pal of ours, we interviewed her previously, and Drink and Draw Buddy at Gabby Scanlon. If you can go to GabbyScanlonMyPortfolio.com, you can find art by her. A real up and comer, I think. Really interesting. Yeah, I definitely do think so. I really think so. And very hardworking, always chatty, and wants to learn about craft and stuff. Really good. Ken Reynolds, kenreynolds.co.uk at Reynolds KR20, who's been a buddy of ours since the show began, I think, actually. Pretty much. I've certainly collaborated with him. I worked on Sliced with him. He's led a couple of my books and stuff, and I've done a couple of podcasts with him. He's good. What a top bloke. John Late donated a load of trades, which are sort of slowly going out the door. If you go on the thread on the Facebook page, if you can, there's still a couple left on there. People He donated three. He addressed them with comedy names to my house, which did make my missus laugh. JWC at JWC_person. You can buy her books. Previous guest of ours and another regular at the Drink and Draws, and a real talented artist. I've got to tell you, she knows her stuff. She's one of those people who just draws stuff, and you think, where did that come from? It's just really good stuff. You can buy her books on Gumroad, you can buy books on Comixology, and you can buy books on Comic House. Yeah, we like JWC. GR Think, Gareth Hopkins, I reviewed one of his books on the new site today, actually. Always interesting, always experimental, always thoughtful, always insightful, and you can find his stuff at GR Think, GRTHINK, or if you go to grthink.com, you can find his books there, and there's a link to his Big Cartel. Gaz Watson, congratulations, Gaz. I think we're allowed to say.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Congrats.
You, woohoo! Daddy Watson, look at that. So big congratulations to you and the family. Hope it's all going well, man. You can find he's one of the few comic reviewers whose opinion I trust. If you go to comicsanonymous.co.uk or at Comics Anon blog on Twitter, you can find him. Always good stuff. Rich Sheaf, the Don. He's donated. Rich is the kind of friend you want, because he's actually donated and asked that I interview somebody else. Who's a friend of his and a creator he likes, so that'll be coming up in the next few episodes. If you go to boysadventurecomics.blogspot.co.uk, he is documenting the areas of British comics that may one day be forgotten, and we really need to remember. And it's a brilliant blog, really is one of the best blogs out there. You can find him at Richard and Sheaf on Twitter. Two more: Pete Davis at the PXD, who designed the logo for my website, and it's just sort of top all. Another guy we've known for years, haven't we? I think you and me, Vince, we met him at Nottingham. I think the first time we met him was at Nottingham. Is that right? Years ago. Yeah.
I'm sure he was at Troops the first time I went.
Okay. Right, I get you. Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Could well be. But... Yeah, I think he's not a million miles from there, but yeah, top bloke. And last one, Mark Abnett at MarkAbnett on Twitter. You can find him. He's got a Kickstarter dropping, I think, February, from what he's saying. He's a New Zealander living in Scotland and busy making his own comics and out there on Twitter. You can find him also at Aroha, Aroha, Aroha Comics on Twitter as well. You can find his work there. There you go. There we catch up. Phew. There you go.
Nice.
Got my list of things to do.
Yeah. All of those people and more helped out good causes, and you were all amazing and awesome, and we love you. So thank you very much. So there you go. There's a fantastic bit of news to kick the year off with, isn't it?
Isn't that good?
Hell yeah.
That's pretty amazing. That's something to be.
I'm proud of us for that. It's good.
Yeah.
It's another reason to celebrate. We've got another event coming up, a drink and draw.
Yes.
Hosted on the 8th. So that's this Friday. Time 7:30. You can join it on Zoom. If you go to the Awesome Comics chat, we've got the Zoom meeting ID and password there. If not, get in contact with Tom Curry on Twitter, which is his @ is can you guys remember?
At this Chucklehead, is it?
At this Chucklehead, yes, and he will give you the details for the drink and draw. Essentially, turn up, have a drink on stream, have a chat, draw away, and it's a good laugh and a good way to kind of socialise while being homebound. So
you don't have to drink. I know it's dry January, but you don't have to drink. I choose sometimes not to. May surprise you.
I've only got a cup of tea.
Oh, you should got tea or coffee on the go.
Scotch.
Yeah. So come along and get drinking. Well, no, don't get drinking. Get drawing. I'm not trying to push you to alcoholism.
Yeah, no drugs.
No, not yet. Anyway,
just get one and share them with us. Anyway, is that it for the shout outs? The first shout outs of the year. There you go. Right then, time to recommend the first batch of comics, or talk about the first batch of comics for 2021. We got a few here. Probably we'll be just machine gunning them all the way through. But who would like to go first? Yeah.
I might go first. Yeah. I saw this on Amazon and just put it on the wish list for Christmas, and I thought, I hope someone gets, a relation say, "Oh, send us over your Amazon wish list," which is a bit lazy, I guess, but at least you're getting something you wanted. And I put Batman: Last Night on Earth by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. and I've read it over the week, and I was a little let down, if I'm honest.
All right.
Artwork just absolutely fucking top hole. I love Capullo's stuff. He kind of like his vehicles and scenery and just everything. It's like feels like it's packed with character and it's lived in and it's real and there's a weight to it. And he's got that kind of like that whole thing of it looks cool. He draws Batman and Batman looks fucking cool, but the story is just all over the bloody shop. It essentially Batman wakes up. A young Batman wakes up in Arkham Asylum in the future, and the whole world has just gone to shit. It's essentially like it feels like DC's take on Old Man Logan.
Oh, okay, right.
Where like the villains have won, and just,
I own this. I haven't read it yet. I got the hardback of it, but yeah.
It's sort of a bit. Everything's up in the air, and it kind of Batman travels through the world with the Joker's head in a jar. But there's lots of things that are kind of mentioned and touched upon, but they're never really explored. And the thing feels like a big fan service. What's I saying? Oh, you remember Clayface? You remember this? You remember that? And there's a few nods to this and that, and nothing's ever really kind of covered substantially. And the story's just a bit of a mess.
I think we got to stop this fan service thing.
Definitely,
it drove me nuts this week. I was reading the Immortal Hulk, and every diner they go to is the Sinot Diner or the Buscema Bar.
Yeah,
or and fuck me, it's just taking me out the story, man.
Yeah, there is a bit too much for it. You're like, oh, okay, why? There's one bit in this where I thought this might play into it. It's the first couple of pages. When he wakes up in Arkham Asylum and he's talking to the doctor, and it's I'm not going to be able to find the name. Like Redmond Hud, the doctor. So Red Hood.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh, right, okay.
It's nothing. Doesn't matter. So I thought, is this all going to be like a psychological rip? Is Batman not? It's just very bizarre. I give it a read. Like
horror movies did this, didn't they? Horror movies did this about 10 years ago, didn't they? Where everyone was Lieutenant Carpenter.
Yeah, let's go down to the old Romero house or something. So I've done it because it kind of it breaks it a little because you're kind of it gets meta, doesn't it? And as soon as you do that,
you're taken out of it. Yeah.
They're trying to craft this world, and suddenly you snap off a piece of it to sort of look outside of it, and suddenly the illusion you're trying to build it seems to be sort of just blown away.
Saying that, the bar in the Marvel Universe called Esmond's is actually
fine. That's totally legit. Yeah. But then again, that's like a background element, isn't it?
Yeah. Nobody knows who I am either. Yeah.
Look, no, man, I don't know. I kept on reading it, thinking, am I not getting this? Am I being fucking dim? Do you know? Have you read that with comics?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. That was the whole of the Image Revolution for me.
Yeah. You like? Am I being fucking dim? I don't get what he's trying to do here. And then, it just never really worked. So, there you go.
So much for the recommends going into 2021.
Yeah. But then I've got on the other side of that, I've got something fucking awesome to balance it out with.
Nice one.
Nice.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, go on.
So Barbalien Red Planet. So issues 1 and 2 I read. Script by Tate Bromble. Story by Jeff Lemire and Tate Bromble. Art by Gabriel Hernandez Walter. We all know who he is, don't we? Sentient and the Vision. Letters by Aditya Bidikar. Published by Dark Horse Comics. It's part of the Black Hammer universe. Have any of you guys read any of the Black Hammer yet?
No, I've heard a fair bit about it, I think. But
I think you'd like it. It's sort of superhero comics in a horror with a horror shell almost.
Nice.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah, it's all right. It's there's a very much of this is the Justice League, but there's something else going on. It's stranger than that. It's interesting. So Barbalien is aka Marks, and he's the John Johns Martian Manhunter analog and things, and he's secret about that. And he's all over the Black Hammer universe. He's the shapeshifter, the same power, but he has the added element of being a gay male, but an alien. He's an alien on Earth who also happens to be gay, and this starts off with him on trial back on his home planet. He's chained up and he's on trial, and it's very much that sort of Warlord of Mars feel to it, that sort of thing. And he's been sent to Earth originally to invade and report back, but instead he's took on the human's form, and in the words of the person who's putting him on trial, coupled with a men. He's given 3 months to live, and then they're going to carry out his death sentence. And then it flashes back to when Mark was a cop. So in the same way that I think John Johns, wasn't he a detective? I think, was he a private eye for some of his stuff? I think, wasn't he, Marsh Manhunter? So him and his partner are sort of foiling a bank robbery, and he had previously made a misguided sort of romantic pass at his partner, and he's getting shouted out about him, and it was definitely a mistake, and his partner doesn't seem to be feeling it and doesn't seem to be wanting it, and it all turns a bit nasty. They go on the demo, and the police go to police a demo, and one of the points of the demo is to speak up about the lack of action being taken by the government against the rise of HIV in the gay community. And Barbalien initially saves one of them who's trying to pull a flag down off a flagpole, but then he ends up arresting him. He transforms back into the police officer and arrests him. And he begins to feel his conscience being troubled by what is happening in the world and how it's changing, and how he's become part of this world, and he's feeling his identity changing and the effects and the implications of being part of that world. But simultaneously, at the same time, there's a bounty hunter called Boaz, and he's been sent to fetch Barbalien. So he's like this sort of fucking mental. It's a bit like Rock the Red, you know, when Rock the Reds, we know when those sort of bounty hunters turn up. There's a touch of that about it as well. Issue 2 leans more heavily into themes of alienation, social, political, and the literal, I suppose, because he is an alien, the literal definition of it. It deals with the gay community in this city. I think it's Spiral City, because I think Black Hammer has these sort of imaginary cities in the same way that DC Universe does, like Metropolis and stuff. But it deals with the rise of HIV in the gay community in the 80s, and it's extremely interesting. There's he decides he creates another identity for himself and starts going to gay clubs, and there's parallels between his life as an alien and his life as a gay male in the city, and it deals. There's echoes of. Do you remember that movie Milk from a few years ago? I suppose 10, 12 years ago. Echoes of
Sean Penn.
Yeah. I think he didn't win an Oscar for that. It was a good film, really good film, and sort of showed San Francisco in the wake of the Stonewall riots, which I think was Greenwich Village off the top of my head, and the change that affected the gay community and has done for illegality to legality in this country, and the rise of HIV and them being beaten up and stuff like that, and the police having a go at them. And it's a really interesting book. It's very well written. I hadn't really seen Bromble before, but I looked him up, and he hasn't done a huge amount in comics. I don't know whether he's a friend of Jeff's or something like that, but anything by Jeff Lemire is worth reading, isn't it? He's a very competent writer. And Walter handles all the art. So he handles the brightness of the alien planet really well, and the transformations from alien to human, and the bounty hunter and stuff like that, beautifully, really well rendered. But he also deals with the sort of nightlife elements of it, and the underground clubs and stuff like that Barbalien ends up going to. Yeah, I recommend it. I think 3 must be due out any time. I must check actually, because it might be even next week. But 1 and 2 are well worth looking. And I recommend the Black Hammer universe. A lot of people will tell you it's good, and there's some really good stuff, good experiment going on in it that you don't quite see in the Justice League these days. But yeah, it's well worth a look. That's my first one.
Nice.
Okay. Right, for my one, Dan and Tony, let's start off by saying go to Twitter and go to @NeoComicArt, all in one. Right, just go there, and I'll tell you for why in a minute. 'Cause, this is an artist that I have mentioned a few times, and they've essentially put 4 issues of a comic book out in 1 year, which is cool enough as it is. When I was thinking about it, we did our faves of the year, didn't we? A couple of weeks back, and part of me, this I would say this narrowly missed out on the top spot, but now I think it is.
Yeah, I've had a bit of that this week.
I had a chance to, as soon as it landed, the new issue landed on Comixology. It was also available on Drive Through Comics as well. I read the latest issue of Snake Claws, which is the Frostbite Immortal, written and illustrated by Edison Neo. Now, if Snake Claws rings a bell, it's because I've talked about every single issue of this since it's come out. Now, for those who don't know, or maybe you're just discovering it, the Snake Claws series is after discovering the power of the forbidden arts, Snake Claws, a ruthless and powerful martial artist, massacres and abandons the rigid scorpion sect, hungry for even more power and abilities. On his journey in search of the forbidden manual, he encounters a survivor from the massacre who is intent on revenge. The classic martial arts setup. And the latest issue itself is yet more exploration of this unique world that Edison is creating. And I mean, we talk about, I mean, Dan, as you say, if you want your art to get better, if you want comics to get better, just keep making them, you know, and you just see the progress in the work. I loved issue 1 of Snake Claws, but issue 1 was very much, it was a fight issue. Do you know what I mean? Brilliant martial art fight, but because it was a fight, it's a quick read. I'm finding as this story is going on and the world is being developed, there's a confidence and there's an expansion of the world and different sort of, you know, martial arts or place in the world. You know, on the last issue there was a fight on a boat with ninjas. Now it's in like a tundra, and a fight between like an Indian chieftain, Chief Wolfblood, who's a bounty hunter after Snake Claws. So it starts off with a fight and then gets more into a lot of character stuff. Which just seemed very confident as well. And I love this series. It's just so... I mean, we've talked about... I will say, this is one of the best martial arts comics I've read for a long time. And I think it comes about because if you look at the pages and stuff, and I'm going to show the guys... I mean, you've seen a few pages that I've sent you, haven't you?
Yeah.
But there's a real... Yeah. You can tell when someone is doing a martial arts book that not only loves those martial arts movies and, you know, with the ridiculous names for moves and things like that, but also someone that likes martial arts themselves. And this definitely feels like, you know, someone knows what they're talking about, even with the craziness that's going on. And the latest issue is so kinetic. There's more fantastic names for moves and sound effects. You learn that Snake Claws himself, when he taps into his inner power, his eyes change to that of like a snake, which apparently is quite a dangerous thing. There's epic over-the-top fights on a icy lake, and fuck you, Batman Begins, because this has one of the best sort of like fighting on a lake moments and icy lake moments that I've seen in ages. It's like a full-page splash, which is just, it's kind of got that cool martial arts bit with a little bit of like the over-the-top Akira kind of powers. Do you know what I mean? Those sort of manga powers when someone will stamp on something and everything around them will explode.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love this. It's interesting to see where the character is going as well, because he's a bastard. He's a bad guy. That's also what I find quite interesting as well. We're following the villain. And it feels like they're chipping away at the villain a little bit, finding out a bit more. And every time, it's 27 pages, it's 79p on Comixology.
Cheap.
People just need to be getting this, you know, because it's just good fun. And I spend a lot more on fucking far less.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
79p seems to be quite a good price on there at the moment. There's a lot of good stuff going. I bought some stuff today for 79p. Yeah.
Now it's obviously available on Drive-Thru Comics as well, all the issues, and as they say on their Twitter, all their comics can be read for free at the website neocomicart.com. I actually sent them a sort of DM and just sort of said, you know, put it on Comic House as well, man, because there's an audience that will lap this up because they'll love it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this artist. Now, another thing I noticed, this is a project they've been part of when I was checking out the Twitter. If you scroll down, there's been a Fantastic Four redo, is what it's called.
Oh, I just looked at that. Yeah.
Where basically different artists are doing different pages, and page 1 is done by Neo, and I opened it up. And that just, you know, it's obviously a redo of the classic page 1 of Fantastic Four. I haven't seen this page in quite some time, but I loved the way that looked when I opened that. There's a wonderful clean line. It's just great stuff. I mean, that's worth checking out anyway. If you go to @RTRADKE, they're going to be posting more artwork from this interesting sort of topic as well. But it's great stuff. I'm a big fan of this artist and a huge fan of this comic. I don't know whether it's... I think it might be only have a couple of issues left of this run. I think it's going to be 5 or 6. But it has been one of those joys of...
Where are they from? Where are these guys from?
I believe it's the US. Correct me if I'm wrong, Edison. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because...
Okay. I just wonder whether they're getting a trade or not of it, sort of thing.
Well, I mean... I'd love to if the post.
Is someone playing marbles in the background?
Yeah, I think
it's got one of the fucking cats has got a bloody little thing there batting around. I just can't. I've tried to get it off him and he growls at me every time I'm getting near. I don't know if you can hear that growling.
No, all right. No, we can just hear you playing with marbles, Dan, and we know that's what it is.
Marbles.
Yeah, but I think what better comic to kick off the new year with than one that I'm...
good stuff, man. You love that as well.
Yeah,
I must look at this. I must pull my finger out and look at it.
Yeah. It's great stuff. So Snake Claws, just the series in general, but the new one's like a special popper. Who's next?
Me.
Dan? Yep.
Me!
Right, Danny B. I'm going to talk about a collection of comics that you've probably seen online at some point, and it's the Perry Bible Fellowship Almanac. Nicholas Gurwitch and the PBF, and this is the 10th anniversary edition. And these comics, edgy as fuck. They're really, they're really great. It's the style changes from one page to the next, and the way they're drawn. And I'll tell you, who first introduced me to these was John Tucker. I know he's been a fan of the Perry Bible Fellowship for a while, but it's hard to describe them, but they're sort of like white people with like minimal features, as in completely white skin and like black pen outline, and they just get up to the absolute just horrendous things. I've sent you guys some pictures of them. For one, you can't really describe these comics; they need to be read and consumed. But there's like a hill with a well at the top, and there's a sign that says 1 wish per customer. And this guy drops in a penny, says true love. And this girl comes up to him, gives him a kiss, and it's true love. And then he looks around what the other people are wishing for. There's a guy that flies away in like a jet, like an X-Wing. Another one rolling a wheelbarrow of money away, no one taking off like Superman. And he's walking down the hill, a bit expressionless, while the girl sort of consoles him. And there's absolutely tons of stuff in it. It's brilliant. It's a chunky old volume. I think you might be able to get all the strips online, but there's a load of back material of stuff that didn't get published. And if you like this show and its humour, this book could fucking be right up your alley. It's fantastic.
It's a bit like that. It's that Onions book you bought me.
Yes,
a bit like that. Yeah.
It's weird because those books I can read them through and then I leave them on the shelf and then go back to them a few months later, and 2/3 of it I've forgotten. Yeah, and then just get all the laughs all again. So I always try and get like a kind of humour book at Christmas, and that was this one. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, the Perry Bible Fellowship Almanac. 10th
you always get us one as well. I've got the Wizard Sleeve.
Yeah,
it's 2021 for me at my feet here. Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, it's good. That's another one I dip into every so often. Just I read a couple of pages and then
I usually read the letters and just
when I first got my one, I read that Salvation Army.
Genius.
So, there's a lot about ABBA in that one.
Yeah, I love ABBA, don't they? Yeah.
So it goes up to the old boys. Your coins, give them to me now. Great.
Oh dear. Tony, take us home.
Last one then, The House by Paco Roca, which he wrote and illustrated. 130 pages, released in November 2019, published by Fantagraphics. This is very kindly a present brought to me by Mr. Tom Stewart from That Comic Smell.
Hey.
Me and him were talking on another podcast about Paco Roca, and he loves him, and this is one of his books I hadn't read. It's set in Spain. He's Spanish himself, the creator. Very popular over there. These are translated volumes, and it's all about a single house in Spain. Nothing special about it. It's a sort of suburban, not big, not small house, and it's about the father who's passed away, and the siblings and their families gather at this house after their father's death, and in order to tidy it up and, you know, fix things that are broken in order to sell it. They're all very different people. There's a sort of he had a few kids and their families, and people grow apart, and it's a real character examination of what these people are like, and it deals very much in relation to memories. So it deals in flashbacks, and it deals with the memories of the family and how we remember people. It's an interesting book because it's hardcover, but it's landscape, which I like. It's this nice wide telling of a. Fantagraphics know what they're doing, don't they? It's $19.99, so it's not expensive, and it deals with how they deal with each other. More, it's a real character piece. It's probably the opposite of your 1V. I've got to tell you. So there's and sadly there's no kung fu fights in it. I would have liked to have seen how they've done about that, but it's about this family. It's there's and it asks lots of questions. It asks lots of real life, realistic questions. So it asks how do we maintain our memories, and do we really need things to maintain our memories? So we often have, you know, I've lost both my parents, and I've got like books of photographs and, you know, little keepsakes from them, but do I really need them to remember them? I rarely look through the photographs because I've got memories of them. And how do we remember them, and who remembers people differently, and what holds a family together when a parent has passed away? And this is an examination of that, and they've all got their own quirks. They've all got their own little things going on. The art is just gorgeous, quietly told. But this is a guy who knows how to draw. He draws everything in a panel, every plant, every tree. And it's some great, not flat colours, but I'm going to say quietly coloured. There's little moments of, you know, where they're sitting on deck chairs talking late into the night. And there's little bits in the bright sun where they're trying to remove trees from the garden. And they're not necessarily all getting on with each other. But it's a really wonderful book. It really is nice. He's a great creator, absolutely amazing. And he's a creator who focuses in on characters. Probably his best book. I think probably what is my favourite book of his is a book called Wrinkles, which is a book about Alzheimer's, believe it or not. Doesn't sound like a page turner, but it really is. It'll break you, utterly break you. He did a book called The Winter of the Cartoonists, which deals with Spanish's own image revolution, which happened decades before the one we know, and deals with the history of comics in Spain, which I knew nothing about. I did a lot of research into. Yeah, and that's a real ensemble piece. And he's another guy, a bit like Durf, who does his research. I mean, he went and met these people. You know, he worshipped them as cartoonists, and these were sort of cartoonists who drew their version of maybe what we would have here would be the Dandy and the Beano and Beezer and Whizzer and Chips and stuff, that sort of thing. But they were a little group of cartoonists who decided to go off and form their own union, and it didn't perhaps go so well. And he deals with that. But he's a really interesting book. The House is a lovely, lovely book. It's a bit of a coffee table book. It's one you can take your time on. It is available digitally on Comixology. But yeah, The House by Paco Roca, published by Fantagraphics. There you go. That's my last one.
Amazing.
Nice one.
What a great selection of books to kick off this year, as well as a great selection of absolute waffle. From all of us.
For more bollocks like that, tune in to next show.
Yep. There's going to be lots more of that. Lots more bullshit where that came from. No, as we tick on with the year ahead, as well as get ever closer to episode 300. So we're going to line up some guests. We're going to line up some topics. We're going to talk to. There's going to be new voices, new comics, and hopefully lots of positive and wonderful news coming out, because this community's too small for bullshit, so don't be an asshole.
Yes. Unless you're me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's your brand. And like we've been saying, our brand is talking nonsense. But if there's anything that you want us to talk about, on future shows, or perhaps are there any other comics people doing some charity stuff that we need to know about, and just pay it forward, please let us know, and we'll put a shout. We will add you to the shout outs, etc. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Mentioned it earlier, but we'll mention it again because this is a section of the show where I mention it. At the Awesome Pod, where we'll probably be talking about the drink and draw, some various other things. I mean, we've shouted out all the good eggs now, haven't we? But
yeah, we're all done now, apart from the interviews.
Yep.
That is closed, folks, by the way. So
yeah.
You missed the chance to do interviews. I'm sorry. But
Yes.
I had trouble keeping up with it as we were going along.
Tony is a legend for fucking doing it. Nice one, Ben.
So it's all done, but please go ahead and just be lovely people throughout the year anyway. Don't let that stop you. If you do the Book of Faces, go to facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast. Also join the community, Awesome Comics Talk. Just search for that in Facebook. Join up, answer some simple questions, and actually get involved with the community. That is just really positive, really good. There's wonderful art threads. As Dan mentioned earlier, there's going to be a sort of a selfie thread.
Looking forward to that.
It will be good actually. And of course there is discussion about comics conventions, just everything in general, classic comics, whatever you want to talk about. Perhaps you want a bit of advice about something. Put the question out and you will get some responses. So that's Awesome Comics Talk on Facebook.com. Thank you for listening to us, whether it was on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. We're also on Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe and leave a review, and just generally it just helps get the word out about this show, the comics we talk about, and more people listen to the show, more people discover new comics. Simple as that. Wow. I mean, they probably discover them from other places as well, because
apparently.
No, it's only us. And if you listen to us on any other networks like Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, what are the networks are we on, Tony?
We're also on Pod. My sex arse is stuck in Calais.
That wasn't. Do you know what? I was so convinced I knew what it was going to be this week.
You thought it was going to be Pod, the most significant and important podcast for our times.
One day we might achieve that episode. And it might be this year.
This day.
No, it's not yet. But not yet. But maybe we'll do it this year. To find out, you'll have to just keep listening to us throughout the year. And plus, you can also hear us waffling on social media or wherever you can find us. Where can people find you, Tony?
Brand new.
Update
Neverionanything.com.
for all your links, baby.
Needs. Thank you.
Yeah. There you go. Also, Tribute Press, surely.
Oh yeah, and tributepress.bigcartel.com. But all the Tribute Press stuff links off that Never Iron Anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a big octopus.
It is. There's I've put a few people on there. If you're a buddy of ours, you're probably going to be on the links page. You've got to tell you anytime soon if you're not there already. There you go. Check
that out. And also, what else should they check out, Dan? Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com. That'll be coming out. The new issue starts in a few weeks, probably like mid to later part of January.
Yes.
So look forward to that. And you can buy Viper and Vanguard through Tribute Press, the Big Cartel store. It's on there. That's correct.
No. Never Iron Anything.
Neverightanything.com.
Yeah.
And it's also on buysmallpress.com. So either and or. Buy one from each and see which one's best for you.
Yeah, I felt like that was a business deal that went wrong. That he really snatched from the jaws of defeat at the end, didn't he? I was like, oh no, he's losing customers. Oh, he's doubled his money. Who would have thought? Yes, you should go check them out and buy those comics because they're awesome. You can find me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Jester Diablo, and wherever you are, thank you very much for listening to the first show of the year. We're looking forward to what's coming next for comics. We will be talking about the ups, the downs, the highs and the lows, and most importantly, reading loads of amazing indie and small press comics, and we're looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah,
and we hope you are too. And also, if you hear of one that's awesome we don't know about, let us know, because we just want to read good comics. That's why we're here.
Going to be loads of them out there. I mean, yeah.
We're in a bubble after all. What a sexy bubble it is. But from our sexy bubble to yours, that is a terrible sign off. That is terrible, isn't it?
What's a sexy bubble anyway?
It's what we're in, Tony.
It's what I do in the bath occasionally.
No. Oh dear. From Tony's bath. Thank you for listening, everyone. We hope you have a good week. Read loads of comics. Have fun creating comics. Stay safe and healthy because the world is still crazy. But we'll still be here next Monday. So join us then. But until then, just read loads of comics. Be the wonderful you that we know you are. And as always, what do they do, guys?
Stay awesome.
Fucking
gold.
It took a few years, but you're almost there.
I've got the technique down there. I know how to boss this.
Perfectly in sync.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll let you have that one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.